30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Empty backfield, Tua back to throw to Tyreek. Got him. He's got a first down. What a great throw and a good catch by Tyreek. Malachi Moore, the fourth-round pick out of Alabama, on the tackle. Tyreek's banged up.
Yeah, they waved him over real quickly.
Yeah, that's how it sounded on the Dolphins radio network. Tyreek Hill leaves the game on a cart, Pearl. His knee is not doing well, and he is likely done for the season. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Sort of globally, that's kind of the biggest thing you need to know from both games last night. We'll get
not in my opinion.
Why not?
Darren Waller, baby.
Oh, come on. Get out of here.
Get out of here, bro. Every single show led with Darren Waller after the game. Who cares if Tyreek Hill's gone? Tyreek Hill's washed. This is the Darren Waller era in Miami.
Wow.
And I'm only half kidding. Like
Mr. Reliable, Darren Waller. I mean, he's a great story. Don't get me wrong. It is. But he came out of absolutely nowhere to catch passes, 2 touchdown passes last night. Tyreek Hill, the future Hall of Famer, we weren't sure what he really had left, Pearl. I thought the biggest thing about Tyreek Hill would be him being traded at the deadline. I wasn't sure if Kansas City would try to get back in the mix or something for as, toxic at times as Tyreek Hill has been. He's going through legal stuff right now off the court, off the field. But I thought he would at least be a piece at the deadline and see if he would attach onto a contender. That's gone now.
I don't think that was happening. Why would Kansas City or somebody want that guy the way he is right now in their locker room? And he's not that good. He's 31. He hasn't been, he's good, but he's certainly nothing. He doesn't even resemble the former Kansas City Tyreek Hill. I don't think anybody was serious was trading for him, and I don't think he'd merit anything more than a late round pick even before the injury. Obviously, and I think Miami's actually probably the best place for him. It's a kind of, you saw a little bit of the high flying offense again last night. Maybe if they open things up, he could be good there. I would not have seen a contender like, say, Buffalo or Kansas City or Philadelphia bringing him in.
Oh, I thought they would. Now, maybe not Buffalo. It's in the division. Kansas City, I could definitely see him welcoming him back. I mean, Kansas City has already overlooked so many off-the-field things with Tyreek Hill, and it's not for him to be the centerpiece. It's him to be a complementary piece. He would already have known that system. Maybe Philadelphia, although they don't throw the ball that much anyway. I don't know, just somebody. I could have said the Chargers, somebody taking a flyer. Obviously, that's not going to happen now. His knee got dislocated in the third quarter last night.
He's 31. I mean,
won.
Kansas City traded him at his peak. Would you think they're going to take him now? There's just no way. The thing that Tyreek Hill's superpower was he was faster than everybody. Now he's just a good receiver, so I don't think there was a ton of value there. And also, let's face it, this is addition by subtraction for the Dolphins. The problem with the Dolphins isn't just their lack of talent. It's bad vibes all over that field.
Definitely.
And I can't imagine, even if they lose every game from now on, I think it's going to be a little more pleasant without Tyreek Hill there.
Okay, but even if that's the case, and by the way, so the Miami Dolphins win the game last night, despite the fact that Tyreek Hill did get carted off with that dislocated knee. But here's the thing. Even if they win every game out, they're not going to win every game. Even if the vibes are better, sorry, final score is 27-21. It's not going to save anybody in Miami. Like, you'd have to go on a serious winning streak getting into the playoffs for Mike McDaniel, Tua, his future, anyone else associated with the Miami Dolphins. Like, it is still, to me, trending towards a full house clean. Now, Tua's contract might make that hard, but Miami has to start thinking about the succession plan here. And this was not really a great game to even judge the Miami Dolphins by, because the Jets are completely inept. I mean, they were awful last night. They were undisciplined. Game plan was terrible. They did not get one quarterback hit or pressure with Tua in the pocket. That is just disgraceful. So to me, and not to be super harsh on the Jets, but they're like going for it this year. This is them like trying to turn things around. And I thought they were as bad as ever last night. So I don't know if this is good enough tape to, evaluate what Tua and Mike McDaniel can actually still be.
I see what you're saying. Of course, absolutely true. Also, GM Chris Greer probably in trouble. But the Dolphins have a little bit of a break on the schedule coming up. Next week, they go to Carolina. That's probably must win. They host the Chargers, must win, and they go to the Browns. So there's possibility they claw back to respectability. And you're right. I don't think there's any way Mike McDaniel saves his job. But if they end up somehow pulling 7-7 out, I think it's a different discussion. Like, don't you think? I mean, for example, this Panthers game is huge.
When's the last time anyone said that?
I mean, every game here is really big for him to sort of establish his job security because we thought he'd be the first coach fired. The truth is, I mean, listen, the first coach fired might have been playing in the later game last night, and Zach Taylor in Cincinnati. I mean, he's obviously lost it.
But what do you do when you have a backup quarterback? Like, you're playing against this really great defense. That was the second game. So the Denver Broncos win that game 28-3. The Cincinnati Bengals kick a field goal on the opening drive, did not run an offensive play on the Broncos side of the ball for the rest of the game.
Did you see Zach Taylor yelling at the officials? That was dead man walking. Like, he's clearly seems very, very frustrated, as if he knows this is coming to an end. And it is coming to an end. I mean, unfortunately, it's because of Joe Burrow's health. They have no chance this season. I don't think they're going to stick with Zach Taylor. I think McDaniel has a chance. That's all I'm saying. That's all I asked for here is a chance for Mike McDaniel, who I like. Carolina, Chargers, Browns. Let's judge them. If they come out of this somehow 4-3, I highly doubt that's going to happen. Then maybe the Dolphins can see something. Now, you're right. Last night was a function of the Jets being so bad. I felt like the Jets, if they could have gotten their act together, might have won that game. But you also saw Devon Achane running the ball. And if he runs the ball, Miami's offense is good. So that is a key. And remember, they could have won against the Patriots. They gave your Bills a bit of a tough time. They're not a terrible, terrible team.
Yep.
I think they're flawed. But it would be nice. I want Mike McDaniel to kind of go out on a high note here because I think he was did we all go a little too far making fun of this guy?
I think he brought that on himself.
With his style?
Yeah, he's wearing a costume out there basically, and he knows he's smart enough to know that he's acting bizarre in some of these press conferences. He's been around the NFL his entire life. If you just want a straight, down-the-middle, run-of-the-mill press conference, do what Kyle Shanahan does, the guy who worked for all those years. He worked for Dan Quinn. He knows how to do this, right? And he's intentionally making himself like...
He's almost bored.
I was going to say either he's doing this for himself, that he thinks he's more interesting, like Manny always plays the drop, we're all just one day closer to death. You don't have to say those kind of sound bites in press conferences if you want to try to be under the radar. There's nothing about Mike McDaniel that appears to be under the radar.
So another day closer to death.
Yeah, like you know what you're doing when you say that in a press conference. But
they probably, if you squint, have enough weapons to be competitive. I think their defense is a bit of a problem, but they have Achane healthy, which is, I mean, how long is that going to last? They have Jalen Waddle, so they have a 1A wide receiver, and they have a system that last night you saw the system work. That's what they want with Tua rolling out, so the Jets could never figure out where he was going for some reason. And I'm telling you, if you look at it the right way, the Dolphins have an avenue here. Watch them lose to Carolina this weekend. It is at Carolina, so that might not be an easy game. But I feel like there was something last night with Miami.
All right, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. And I didn't really come out of this thinking there's something for Miami. Again, Tyreek Hill getting hurt, I thought was the biggest story coming out of this game. I thought the other part was, what happened to the Jets? Last week, you're competitive against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? You're on the road, competitive. Tyrod Taylor, maybe. I thought they should have gone back to Tyrod Taylor in the second half where it's only a 10-point deficit. You're still in this game. Now, Justin Fields ended up having the highlight of the night, which is a 43-yard run when he looked dead to rights. The athleticism, the running ability is obviously there. But I thought at times he didn't look good. Like they couldn't get to the line of scrimmage, break the huddle without penalties. It ended up being 16 penalties, 13 accepted penalties for 101 yards from the Jets to go with 3 turnovers. They also had mental errors like fair catching a punt inside the 5 and then punting on 4th and 10 when you're down 11 with 7 minutes left to go, which is surrender cobra of the game. Now, it ends up being a one-score game. If you just go, 27-21, maybe that was a good game. That doesn't really tell the story. I thought the Jets were just really bad and undisciplined. EJ, I know you're dying to get in here. There's been more embarrassing moments for the Jets, of course, and I'm not trying to pick on them, but I was just so disappointed by what they put out last night. They got a couple bad calls going their way. Sauce Gardner is definitely complaining, but he got cooked by Waller. What is going on? Because that was as bad as could be.
I mean, to quote the great Bill Callahan, they're the dumbest team in America. I mean, and it's really bizarre considering Aaron Glenn has made his whole thing about discipline, and maybe it's just going to take time. The thing about the Jets is they don't have the horses. The penalties are terrible, the mental mistakes are terrible, and a smarter team maybe would have been able to steal that game. You don't fumble the ball at the goal line if you're Braylon Allen, right? There's so many issues that they had. But at the end of the day, the defense is awful. They just don't have enough bodies. It felt like the Miami Dolphins could do whatever they wanted offensively. They had no answer at all. And when your team is so one-dimensional when it comes to running the football and you get down in the game, it's basically a death sentence. They just don't have the pieces. Maybe in a year or two with Darren Muji in the front office, they can overturn the roster. Definitely going to have to do that, and things change. I just think right now, if you're a Jets fan, you're rooting for the Jets or you're following this team, it's going to be a lot of long days and long nights. You just got to just get ready for it.
Yeah,
this crap is crap.
You know the narrative. I mean, Aaron Glenn, Dan Campbell, terrible his first year. We saw it in the documentary with Jared Goff. But
3-13.
Trying to build a culture. And, I do think that there is some positivity with Aaron Glenn, despite all the knucklehead things. To me, I agree with you. Ultimately, was calling the fair catch at the 3-yard line, then turning around and being like, the guy turned around and looked at the goal line right behind him and goes, oh, you can hear him see, oh, crap, in real time. But they have the luxury of building something that has nothing to do with their record. Also, let's face it, they have to be at the top of the draft to get a new quarterback. And that feels bad because I like Justin Fields a lot. And I actually thought he made some really nice plays last night when they finally kind of opened it up. But they're going to have to get a quarterback here. So I think you're going to have to use that first draft pick on a quarterback. And they structured his contract exactly for that. So this is a true, how everybody wants to fire a coach in their first year. This is a true long-term project, right, Maggie?
Well, not according to Aaron Glenn. He came in and said, we're going to win now. I mean, that was obviously a whole load of crap. But, here's the one thing about this is how bad teams stay bad. Yes, you would think that they should have patience and they're turning over a new GM and a new coach. But I don't trust this ownership group because they get a little trigger happy, if you will.
Let's make sure we play like the New York Jets.
It's been a long time since Rex was back there. As far as their defense, the Jets, and again, Miami gets the W, their first one of the season. 0 quarterback hits, 0 sacks, and they have 0 forced turnovers on the season. The season.
And I hate to be that guy who's like, I don't know anybody on this Jet roster. But, if you're watching the NFL and you watch that Jet defense, besides Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams, I think a lot of people were like, I don't know who any of these people are.
I don't care to know.
Right, and they don't want to know. They don't want any. And none of those guys you watched last night, you also were like, man, hope we can get that guy on our team at some point. The Jets cut them loose. There was nobody out there that you said, oh, that guy, he showed me something out there. They don't have any talent. And look, when you go all in the way they did in the Aaron Rodgers era, and then it flops, this is the downside of that. You have all these salary cap issues. You have all these money issues. So you're not going to be able to just turn a team over in a year.
Yeah.
You just don't have the time.
Broncos did it.
Broncos got extremely lucky by getting Bo Nix. They drafted a quarterback, and they had a very good defense that was already put together. The Jet defense we learned last year was extremely overrated, and a lot of those guys were out the building.
I feel like they got a little lucky getting Sean Payton. Bo Nix is okay, but Sean Payton is the key to that turnaround.
And their defense is very good.
The Broncos had a top 5 defense with Russell Wilson. The Jets defense was not that last year. They were terrible. And a lot of those guys on a defense that was overrated are gone. So now it's a lot of young guys, a lot of guys that are undrafted free agents or late-round picks. They just don't have the horses. The Broncos, they didn't turn over their defense. Their defense they stayed.
Yeah, so Patrick Surtain, awesome last night on Jamar Chase. And the thing is about the Broncos on that side of the ledger, if you will, to me, this was a couple good things that you liked about Bo Nix. Threw a bad pick in the end zone. I like how he rebounded in the next drive to go down and score a touchdown right before the half. Stuff like that is really good, but I don't know how. And the defense was fantastic. As I said, field goal on the first drive for the Bengals. They did not run a play on the Broncos side of the ball for the rest of the game. It was very, very good on the defensive side, but you can just see with Cincinnati, They had a million penalties. They couldn't get anything going on offense. A couple of them I thought were ticky-tack on the road, did not help them at all. But with Jake Browning, I think you could tell that he's doesn't want to throw interceptions. And I understand. He threw 3 the day that Joe Burrow got hurt. He threw 2 more last week. And you can see that he doesn't really want to throw that much in the middle of the field. It looked like that, except for a few plays here and there. They could not get anything going on offense. I thought they were playing scared.
Yeah, I am so disappointed in my guy, Jake Browning. After 2 years ago, he was so good as a relief pitcher, and it's so bad right now. That team is quit on their coach with a capital Q. Jamar Chase, I feel so bad for the guy because he's so talented, and it's just a wasted season in his prime right now. You saw him go up to the coach at the end of the game and be like, what are we doing here? There's nothing to say about Cincinnati. Like, they're lost. They're going to have to. Unfortunately, I like Zach Taylor. They're going to have to fire him, start over. And
are they, though? They kept Marvin Lewis for 15 years without ever winning a playoff game.
I think Zach Taylor if they lose out here, I think he's definitely on the hot seat.
Well, if they lose out, but how do you even really accurately, assess the guy with Joe Burrow on the sideline for 3 months?
That's funny.
Minimum.
But you see him like he's losing his cool left and right. I don't know. I think you think they could go 2-15? He'll keep his job?
I just think it's like a
or
do-over.
It actually will be 3-15 because they already got to win.
Yeah, they got to win. So I think I think that it would be. No, I think they would just sort of say, all right, we lost Joe Burrow. Like, it's a lost year. Try to get the defense better. They're still not great.
Yeah, I guess I'm going back to that documentary where Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor didn't seem to be on the same page. I don't trust that Zach Taylor is going to survive there. And I think it's going to be a bad season for them. A couple years ago, they used to fight for Jake Browning. Like, they wanted to win those games. And the problem is they haven't really done anything to build that defense. So the defense is still awful.
Yep.
Maybe Jake Browning being bad is a little bit of a distraction. Hey, look at this.
Everyone's got cover.
Don't look at the defense over there. Because Bo Nix looked like a superstar last night. It was throwing some great intermediate passes, but who cares?
Yeah.
That means nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from that win. Let's face it. There are three coaches who are going to have terrible records this year. Probably Mike McDaniel, Zach Taylor, and Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn, I hope, is safe for a while.
Yeah,
but
he just got the job.
I think Zach, well, that means nothing. This is the one and done era of coaches, right?
I don't think he's one
normally,
and done.
I don't think he is, but let's face it, a lot of coaches have been one and done in the last several years. So now I think, and then you put in Brian Callahan with those 2 guys. You got 3 guys who it's a chase to. Yeah, I think if Miami lost last night, Mike McDaniel would have been in big trouble.
Coming to think of it, it's actually a good time to be a coaching candidate. Maybe in the NFL, there's always a lot of openings, but also in college. We're going to have a lot of openings. Last year, not so much in college. I think in this year, we're going to have a lot of, this upcoming offseason, we're going to have a lot of college openings as well. Last night, not great. But you're welcome to weigh in. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476.
This crap is crap.
Is Tyreek Hill ever going to play again? We're waiting to hear just how bad the knee is. I don't want to try to judge somebody right after they suffer a devastating injury and getting carted off the field. But I'm going to be honest, I've never seen somebody smiling as they're getting carted away. I didn't know what to make of that. He's smiling, blowing kisses to the crowd, saying, thank God. I don't know what he was saying. It felt like he was relieved that he was getting carted off the field. This is usually guys crying in tears, towel over the head, devastated, understanding it's setting in the long road ahead. You're in shock. You're in pain.
Well, I think my last text to the group chat kind of, encompassed all of that. I think Tyreek Hill realized that he doesn't have to catch passes from Tua Tagovailoa anymore.
I think he, first of all, there were definitely tears in his eyes when he was smiling.
Oh,
His
really?
face was all you call that a smile? That's smile like in the movie Smile. That was not that was not a good smile. That look at his slow-mos, the pain was pretty evident. And then that picture when he's calling his family in the wheelchair that they cut to, that was not good. The whole thing was very sad. I think he plays again because he's 31, right? And I think of Antonio Brown, who held on way too long and tried to come back 5 times. I feel like we are going to hear from Tyreek Hill again.
Yeah, well, Antonio Brown was lucky that he had Tom Brady in his corner, kept bringing him back. But anyway, 888-710-4ISN. And I think the second biggest story, if you will, is there was a real questions about Bo Nix heading into this game. He was definitely under some pressure. It did not look good through the first few games of the season. He looks good last night, but do you trust it because the Bengals defense is just so bad? Because think about it. It's a playoff team from a year ago. Looks like the Chiefs got right. We'll see what happens with the Chargers. I don't know if it's going to be the Raiders' year, but everyone's expecting the Broncos are going to be right there for another playoff run. What'd you see? 888-710-4ISN.
All right, Maggie, how'd you do last night?
Actually awesome, because I disregarded your advice. I'm sorry, Pearl. You know I trust you on everything, except for my prize picks. I decided to go more than for J.K. Dobbins, and that ended up working out. He was a focal point of the Broncos offense last night. And I decided to go a little more than on Justin Fields. And despite the loss, he came through. And you want to know what? Prize Picks comes through for us all the time. We're obsessed about this. Right now, you can win big on Prize Picks because we're available in 40 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. Most importantly, they don't play about your money on Prize Picks. All transactions on the app are fast, they're safe, they're secure. We're obsessed with Prize Picks. Come and play along with us.
Yeah, a lot of baseball choices tonight, so you can follow it all day long. That's the great part about this wild card round. Baseball all day. Don't miss any of the action this season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code MNP and get a $50 in bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code MNP on Prize Picks. Get $50 in bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Mand P.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. As the only honest person in this room, I will tell you right now, I enjoy when your guys' teams lose. And when the Jets were losing last night, there was a hint of a Tyreek Hill style smile thinking about EJ watching this game.
Why?
Just because I knew you would be yelling at the TV, and I knew I could hear your frustration. I'm sorry, you're kind of fun when you're losing because you are a good yeller at the TV. Is that wrong? Is that so bad?
I'm an elite yeller.
Yeah.
I'm an elite yeller.
And I hate to say
what
it,
a flex.
They're really bad now. And
this crap is crap.
The thing is, this could have been a mock draft off. Like Miami is in for a quarterback and the Jets are in for a quarterback. So normally this would be a great loss for the Jets. But I'm looking at mock draft, so there is no quarterbacks at the top. Every week they have a new guy that may or may not work out. So I feel like your quarterback might not be out there, and this might be year one of the Justin Fields experience.
Ray Charles can see that, brother.
So anyway, I just don't know how the Jets get out of this. If I do enjoy EJ's tears, I probably will get some more of them. Is that what? Is this bad?
This is
Bad
why
guy Pearl
that's
is back.
not right.
Why is that not right?
Do. You can think it, but this is why it's not right for you to admit that. Because you're punching down.
Thank you.
Because your Philadelphia Eagles are the reigning Super Bowl champs. Because your Phillies made it into the playoffs, and you clinched like 2.5 weeks ago. And because you're riding high, now you're going to punch down on EJ, whose Jets had a win total coming into the season of 5.5 wins or whatever. Nobody, you want to make fun of the Mets? That's fine. Their payroll is huge. They could make the playoffs. Okay.
Go Birds. But EJ's no fun after a win. He just sits there quietly and is a gentleman about it. He's a blast after a loss. I came in today. I knew he was going to be spun like did you hear him in the newsroom ranting about that defense? It was wonderful.
Hold on. EJ can be fun after wins.
Get the out here, Detroit.
But no one cares about the Knicks enough.
Knicks playoff wins.
Yeah. The
Elite
universe,
yeller.
Let's go.
The universe gives you a pretty good Knicks team. Sorry.
So
pretty good.
does anyone else do this as a fan? This is what I do. And maybe this is just like deranged fan syndrome, but I do the thing where okay, the Mets screwed up and the Jets are probably going to go winless. That means that the Knicks and Miami Hurricanes must have a historic season. I do the thing where there's no way all of my teams can be good.
That sounds like
But
Copium,
you've
brother.
seen all your teams be bad at the same time. You've witnessed that.
No, because there's always one that ends up being good. Gonzaga ends up being good. There's always one. There's always one that's really good.
I forget you pulled Gonzaga.
Yeah. There's always one that's really good.
You'll always have the Zags.
Because they're playing that West Coast Conference schedule. No kidding.
Hey, I mean, how many
Still haven't won a title,
how many
though.
straight Sweet 16s, though? But listen, I don't know if other fans do that, but I do the thing where if I root for multiple teams, if I'm going through a rough stretch, I say, all right, that's fine. Winter and spring will be better.
You got the New York Liberty.
Because someone else is going to come up. Right. Someone else is going to rise up and give me a good season. There's no way all of my teams can be the worst.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. That's a very positive view of the world.
Yeah.
That's not as cynical as you could be considering some of the teams you root for.
But
Juxtapose that to me.
Are you saying that
You're a
you
lost
guys
cause.
are rooting for the Phillies to win here? So you're telling me I'm the only one who doesn't root against the other people's
No,
teams?
I'm saying you're punching down because your teams are really good now, and some of EJ's teams are really bad. And to revel in someone whose teams are bad and there's no. Again, you can make fun of the Mets. The Mets are supposed to be good. They weren't good. They're bad. You want to make fun of that?
You can't make fun of the Jets?
No, you can make fun of the Jets, but it feels like punching down when you're like, I can't wait to drink EJ's tears. It's the Jets, for goodness sakes.
What else
suck.
What else are we going to make of the Jets if we're not going to make fun of them? They've been bad for 10 years.
It will continue to be the longest playoff drought in North American sports because now they're 0-4, and something tells me they're not going on a run.
We got Cowboys this week, so...
You're the slump buster. You're the slump buster. Let's go, Jets.
This would be an ultimate. By the way, if somehow the Jets make the playoffs, I should be crowned the slump bust queen.
Okay.
That would have meant that.
Wow.
Jeez.
Sure.
That's some title.
Go get it. EJ, I'm going to need that.
Okay.
By the way, 6:30 Eastern. Thank you much.
You guys know what I mean.
I don't think you know
Nobody
what you
knows what you mean, Maggie. I don't think anyone knows exactly what you mean, especially if you don't know the backstory of what this means. And if you're listening, can I just clarify one thing? If you're listening on radio and you're not watching on the YouTube, Infinity Sports Radio Network YouTube, Maggie does not look like a slump buster.
wait. No,
Yeah,
that's a compliment, I think.
Yeah,
right?
You're way too pretty to be a slump buster.
I've coined this the year of the slump buster, guys. This is if somehow the Jets come through.
I mean, this is
I'm
why
Nostradamus.
The Jets aren't coming through.
Right,
You're not
that's part of the
Nostradamus.
premise. The whole premise is flawed. You're rooting for the Jets and weird teams to win. They're never going to win.
Yeah.
Listen, I got Rory McIlroy finally. 11 years without a
dear
major
God.
slump buster.
And
Whip it
all
out.
subsequent ifs have not hit. No, you didn't get a hockey, nothing.
No, I
And you
did, but
didn't-
you
you didn't
guys refused to accept the fact that Florida basketball
No.
was actually in a
No.
slump. And
No.
also the Oklahoma City Thunder.
No.
I feel like to be a slump, we have to talk about the slump.
Right.
The Jets would qualify. This is a slump.
I got the
they're
Mariners.
not
I'm alive with the Mariners. I'm alive with the Tigers. I'm alive with the Guardians. I'm basically alive
Slump
with
from what?
everyone in baseball.
Doesn't
from
a
winning
slump
title.
imply that you won? And
Okay, well then I can definitely have the Tigers then.
Sure. You think the Tigers are coming out of this bad boy?
They've lost 60 of their last 67 games.
Yeah.
So,
That's
I
what's
think
going
you
to
might
make
wanna-
this even sweeter.
You have a better chance with the Jets.
Do
But
I?
even the year of slump buster is one thing. To call yourself the slump buster queen is going to stick with you, Maggie.
Whip it out.
You know what though? This is my take, and I'm standing by it.
Yeah,
what
but
does your
you
mom
understand the double entendre. Well, forget it. Let's move on.
Listen, I'm willing to stand up here and say print the T-shirts.
What?
Meanwhile, I was thinking about Pete yesterday. Pete
I
Bellotti.
was too.
Mm-hmm.
Big news in Bellotti's world. I wasn't sure, Bogues, if you were going to do this in the update.
Not
Pete
in this
Bellotti.
one. No, I was gearing up for a Bellotti break.
What, was there
Okay.
some second-tier wrring guy who dropped out or something?
No, his
something
other
better.
passion.
Something better.
An actual sport.
Okay, so obviously Pete used to be our board op before Manny's here, and Pete went into the overnights.
I am not a compulsive gambler.
His favorite sports figure is Bruce Bochy. Bruce Bochy and the Texas Rangers decided to mutually part ways yesterday, and I actually do believe that was mutual, unlike all the other
man.
BS we get with that. And if the Mets weren't standing by Carlos Mendoza, Bruce Bochy could be available for the Mets.
Oh,
just
no.
don't
The,
like
the story, though, is he's going back to San Francisco because they fired Bob Melvin,
yeah.
and
What?
Buster Posey, who was Bruce Bochy's catcher, is now the GM. So they were already wondering that because Bochy was unsettled in Texas, and then Melvin gets fired, and then Bochy's out in Texas. So that's the play.
Yeah, but that's what having the richest owner in sports outside of Steve Ballmer does for you.
I
You
just
know
don't
that
like
that logic's not gonna stop Pete Bellotti from putting Bochy in a Mets uniform in some very bad Photoshop or something.
Do you guys
right?
know, by the way, that meme where the guy has a red checkered shirt and he gets another one for Christmas?
Yes.
Very familiar.
That is going from Bob Melvin to Bruce Bochy. Actually, when they fired Bob Melvin, I actually thought, isn't that the guy Bellotti loves? Oh, no, it's Bochy.
And then there's Bud Black, who
Yeah,
also
oh, yeah.
manages
Oh,
on
my
that
God.
Not
side,
nearly
too.
as successful.
Former Rockies
Bud
manager.
Black.
He might not be successful, but they are all one version of the same person to me.
We might be disrespecting Bochy. He has the most wins currently. Like, he's the active wins leader. The other guys are
think you're an
fine,
idiot.
but Bochy's a borderline Hall of Fame manager.
He'll get in.
Yeah, the other guys are interchangeable.
They're just like older dudes with like goatees. And then Melvin shades it, but like they kind of look the same. Like Bochy's like the older version of those other two guys.
Well, and also Bochy looks like he's just doing baseball on the side from his job as a, country music singer
Are they
or
all
something like that. He's got that deep voice.
I should know this. I mean, admitting my ignorance. Are they all backup catchers? All
No,
three?
Bud Black was a pitcher, I think.
Okay.
You said that with a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Melvin was definitely a catcher. Bochy was definitely a catcher. I don't know what Bud Black was.
Well, let's get to Bogus with the headlines.
This is, again, baseball with the managing sort of like, this is exciting stuff.
Your headlines this morning are sponsored by Prize Picks. Football's heating up, and so is the hard-hitting action on Prize Picks. Download Prize Picks and use code PRIMETIME.
What about Shallow?
And get $50 in bonus credit instantly when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
What?
The Cincinnati Bengals might want to rethink their commitment to Jake Browning.
Shotgun snap on 2nd and 10 from the 28-yard line. Messy pocket. Down he goes. Franklin Myers jumps on him. Denver with another sack. And this one is back at the 22 of Cincinnati.
Kevin Harlan on Westwood 1. Browning sacked 3 times. The Bengals offense producing just 159 yards in a 28-3 loss in Denver last night. Head coach Zach Taylor's sympathy for Joe Burrow's replacement.
We walked into it as hard of an environment as you're going to face. Monday Night Football on the road in Denver with one of the better fronts in all the league, with the defensive player of the year in the secondary. It's a tough unit to go against.
Just for the record, Zach didn't curse at the beginning of that. Yeah, that defensive player of the year is
He could have, though, and he probably should have.
Yeah, his
Embarrassing performance by us.
Sertan II, he helped hold Jamar Chase to just 5 catches for 23 yards last night. Broncos QB Bo Nix threw for 2 scores, ran for another. Both of these teams are now 2-2. The Jets are 0-4 after this 27-21 stinker in Miami. 3 giveaways, mental mistakes, 13 penalties. Garrett Wilson laying down the gauntlet to his teammates.
Just at the end of the day, what do you want your legacy to be in this league, man? I look back on my time, and man, we gotta go now. There's no time to So we got to have it this week.
This week being Sunday's game with the Cowboys. Meanwhile, the Dolphins' first win of the season, tainted by Tyreek Hill's gruesome left knee injury. The team confirmed a dislocation. Post-game said Hill would spend the night in the hospital for further evaluation. ESPN's now reporting Hill has suffered multiple torn ligaments, including his ACL. He'll have surgery later today. Kyle Shanahan said yesterday Brock Purdy's toe injury was bothering him Sunday night after losing to the Jaguars. Wideout Ricky Pearsall is dealing with a minor PCL sprain. The problem for the Niners is they play Thursday night against the Rams. We are all Red Sox fans now as they get set for a wild card series at Yankee Stadium. Stud lefty Garrett Crochet has the ball for Boston.
I think that I've always had a lot of self-belief and I always wanted to be this guy that could throw game 1 of a playoff series. So to be here now comes as no surprise.
Crochet told his teammates to dress for success when they flew to New York Sunday night. So they went business casual on the charter, usually opting for comfort.
Business casual?
Over style.
Man, wear a suit and tie. What's this casual stuff? You want to dress for business? You want to come like you're coming to settle some business, man? Wear a tie then if you're going to go all out like that. Man, these guys are losers.
Wow. Are you sure your back's not hurting from stretching on that one? I also, business casual, the flight's 40 minutes.
Yeah, I was on that flight.
Put some sweatpants on, man.
It's not
cares?
you're not that uncomfortable. The flight literally is maybe one of the shortest flights that exist in this world.
Takes longer to get to the airport than to actually fly.
100%.
That's why I take the train. I hate flying to Boston.
Oh, I like it. I just did it.
What?
It was
Flying
fun.
to Boston?
Yeah, I flew to Boston last weekend.
I prefer the Amtrak is fun.
Is it?
No.
Dog, I've taken that Amtrak.
Well, you can take a 9-hour one to Buffalo.
Well, yeah, it was cheaper.
I don't know how.
Well.
Yeah, man, I feel like you're disqualified from this conversation because of that decision, that 9-hour Buffalo train
I'll
ride.
do it again.
I personally hate short flights because you have to go through all the rigmarole. You might as well be flying to Thailand. It's the same amount of annoying things at the airport.
Gotta get pre-TSA.
Hold on. Then I have a question because a flight to Buffalo is about 45 minutes from New York City. Would you rather take a 9-hour train ride or the 45-minute flight?
I wouldn't. Buffalo you fly to, but Boston's 3 hours away. It's a different
Right. So
thing.
it's not a 9-hour train ride to Boston.
By the way, TSA pre, everyone's got TSA pre. Have you been reading the headlines? Like, that's harder to get through now than the actual
I
security
got
line.
through that security just last weekend in 5 minutes. It was the easiest thing.
I think everything in life basically is a scam except for TSA pre. That thing
definitely.
is great.
So what's the
it's
difference?
like $80 for 5 years.
What's the difference between TSA pre and clear? Somebody still has to.
Clear's good.
I don't get. I use clear. The only reason I use clear is to skip the lines at Yankee games and to go to Madison Square Garden because they have it at Yankee Stadium, Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't use it. I don't fly. What's the difference between TSA pre and clear though?
I saw those lines. The regular TSA line compared to my line, it was like people were waiting to get Jordans.
And
like,
isn't
it was crazy. and there was nobody on my line.
Isn't
so
there
I don't know what y'all
a
talking
TSA
about.
pre plus clear as well? Isn't there like another line,
Yeah, there's a new thing.
bro?
It's called, it's like some enhanced
We
thing.
should just get rid of.
But you guys
security
haven't
lines
seen
at
that? Like,
airports.
TSA pre's in trouble. You're just flying at the right times. Like, it's getting, now everybody has it. I saw a big story in the Times about that. But anyway.
The New York Times there, definitely.
Oh, stop
They definitely got their stuff going together. I mean, I just flew for TSA pre. It was fine.
Yes,
that's my
EJ, that is the
experience.
one time you, whatever.
No, how many times have I flown this year? I haven't had any issue with TSA pre.
All right, when you guys go to the Super Bowl this winter, this February, you guys check it out. How about Perloff goes on the regular line, EJ goes on TSA pre, and you go on clear, Maggie.
Oh yeah, we should do that now.
What line should we take? You and me, man.
You and I will.
You're
take,
on the train.
We'll take
all
the
the way to
Hudson
Santa
line down to
Clara.
Manhattan.
Okay.
The Hudson line down to Manhattan, Bobby.
Just call me Poppy.
Oh, yeah, tú sabes.
Okay. I'll take it.
Wait, that's where we got to leave it.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
fine.
All that TSA pre-talk got in the way of your headlines. Okay, we have lots more to do, including the baseball playoffs start today. We have more NFL for you, and we would not forget college football. It's all on the table. M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We'll get back to a Monday night doubleheader in just a moment. But, you know, it's funny about just cleaning up some stuff from the Ryder Cup here from golf. And we're getting more and more reports about more things that are happening in terms of the crowd, Pearl, really going after specifically Rory McIlroy. And I know now if you look on social media, there's like, you're going to get videos of fans calling him out using really, really terrible language, like slurs, bad stuff. Then you're also going to see Rory kind of celebrating a lot, and you could wonder, like, you know, who's in the right, who's in the wrong. It seems like everybody was just really on 10, right? Like there was just really high tension, and then also a lot of celebrating by the Europeans, but also the American crowd not acting right. Just sort of, if you go 30,000-foot view on this, do you think that people are feeling more or less comfortable going to sporting events in general? Because we kind of knew what was going to go on in the Ryder Cup. In some ways, they were kind of courting it. It's not right. You should not be saying these kind of things to anybody, let alone at a sporting event. It's just kind of gross, like what ended up happening here. And I know it's not the main story of what happened. The main story is the Europeans won, and the U.S. had to try to have this big comeback. But do you find yourself less comfortable going to sporting events now?
One thing I will say, yeah, I totally get it. And I understand, but there is one thing you have to understand. There's cameras in the crowd now is a much different phenomenon. Like we're seeing every little thing. So everything, for example, when the slur was said at Rory, I've seen it maybe 50 times on social media now. Yep. So who knows what was happening 20 years ago. And you say people are uncomfortable, but then again, attendance is up in all these sports. So I'm not sure. I'd like to see the evidence where people are not going to games. So I don't know. I understand. I do feel like sometimes it gets amplified by social media, the bad behavior. Yeah. That being said, there is a lot of bad behavior. I've seen it. You've seen it. But I don't know. I mean, back in the day, I think a lot of it was not on camera phone. So I do think there is a bit of a different dynamic going on.
Because, like, you just even extrapolate this out, not even from the Ryder Cup. Like, you could look on, if you wanted to, on social media, there is a fight at every single game. I mean, we all see it. Now, we're extremely online. I guess not, but, like, I was seeing fights in the parking lot or the tailgate for Penn State. You're seeing fights, Georgia, Alabama. You're seeing fights at every baseball game. I mean, sheesh. Like, you can't even be in the crowd. There's fights all the time. football games, forget it. Like, I think about, my own kid. I'd love to take him to a game. I took him to a minor league baseball game. That was good. I can't take him to a football game. He's too small. Like, he's 6 years old. I think I was going to football games too young, quite frankly. I don't know if I should have been there. That's not like calling out my parents or anything, but I don't know if I should have been there. Like, it's not a place for kids. And is that a kind of sad thing that we have to say, that if you take your kid to an NFL game, odds are they could see something pretty disturbing?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think if you were in Philly 6, you said? Yeah. You would definitely take him to Link at this point. Like, you got to.
I don't know if I want to, though. I don't want to see.
It's so much better than the Vet. I'm telling you, it's night and day. It's so much fancier. It's so much richer. Like, basically, in Philadelphia, the middle class has been frozen out of that stadium to some extent. And, like, where the seats, it's definitely a different experience, but it's not quite as violent as it used to be. I'm telling you right now, it was way, way worse back in the day. I think there are way less fights than there used to be. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, do you guys... The back in the day in the 80s and stuff, that was just like you went to the ballpark to take your shirt off and fight, didn't you?
Well, I wasn't.
I want some old people like
old
me
enough
to
to
call
go in
it.
the 80s, but
I just think that I think this is a little bit due to cell phones.
social. Okay,
I think, but I don't know.
It's
I'm
still
sure
happening though. Like you can say where it's amplified because of cell phones and camera phones, but like it is still happening, and it's made me think twice. Like I was thinking about taking my kid even to a college game, and I'm like, college football game. I'm like, do I? I don't even know what to do.
You should. With that school that you were thinking about taking him to, I don't think you're going to meet much violence.
College games
Rutgers University?
Yeah, I don't
college games have
Rutgers, Oregon.
Come on, it might be the birthplace of college football, but Rutgers isn't Penn State. There's not going to be a big old tailgate where there's going to be fights and alcohol flowing. Respectfully, there's 10,000 people there.
Also, too, I think the rowdy people are separated from, like, because the kids all sit together. So they're off to the side. I don't think you're going to be in the middle of the student section. So you're going to miss a lot of the rowdies.
I can't take him to a Bills game. I know better than that.
Don't do that.
I cannot take him to a Bills game.
I think it depends on the college, because I've also seen grown men at college places getting in fights that are not in the student section. Like, it's everywhere. I don't know. I keep saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it. I feel like there was a pre-2020 the way the fans were and a post-2020 when the fans were, and I think that there is a difference. I think the players who have talked about the abuse they've taken since they come back out of the bubbles have talked about it.
No.
I think the amount of videos you see, because we had cell phones in 2016, 2017 too, and I was not seeing a fight every single day on social media. I think there is a difference. I think that people don't know how to act now in public. I think people who are in sheltered, living at home, now a lot of people work from home, so they don't even got to interact with anybody for 16 hours out of the day, and the one thing they're doing is going to a sporting event. I don't think they know how to act. I think that's why you're seeing more fights. I think that's why you're seeing more fan-player interactions. You did not see fan-player interactions every season in the NBA until this post-COVID situation.
Although what Perloff is saying is that stuff was always there. We just didn't see it. I mean, there were some
the players didn't really have a mechanism to complain about it back in the day.
Well, but you saw, there would be, like, obviously the Malice at the Palace is probably the worst example of that.
Right, that was like an outlier. It was like, oh, my God.
No, my God.
Going into the
That
stands.
was not an outlier. Like, the league is like, this is a problem.
No, but that was an outlier.
A riot in the crowd was an outlier.
There was a riot, yeah, but there was a problem going on. Basketball's tough because the crowd is right on top of it. Like, the Malice of the Palace was not a total outlier at all.
Palace and the Malice.
Like, it wasn't like things are great. Then they had the Malice of the Palace. That is not how I recall it. Like, they had to institute all these rules because they were already having problems.
It was maybe the culmination of things that were, maybe it was kind of inching towards that, but that was like a explosion.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of times players went into the stands and fought the fans, you could probably count on one hand before that night. Like, the Rangers hockey, like that was
Robert
different,
Parrish.
obviously.
Remember, the NBA changed all the rules after Malice of the Palace. There was a whole set of things.
Because that was those are terrible images to come out of there. That was a
No, I think the crowd was getting on top of the players too much coming into that.
So there's another part too that the NBA players have talked about, which is, and this is kind of a 2020 after, which is online gambling, where the players say that they'll hear a lot or in their DMs or whatever, like, you screwed my parlay, you screwed my this,
I need
that.
3 more points to hit my parlay, Josh Hart.
Yeah, but there's one thing about just fans saying that, because they've had, oh, you're on my fantasy team. We've been saying that to guys for 20 years, but it's another when guys feel threatened. Like, you're abusing me because of this, not just, hey, I need you to score a touchdown for my fantasy team. There's nothing wrong saying that.
I think all these things have emboldened fans in a way that they weren't before. Now, like, we just were in a harder time in the 80s and 70s and 90s. So, like, I'm not saying there weren't fights then. But, again, I'm just talking about my livelihood. I've been going to games since the 90s, right? So I'm not like – so I'm just talking about when I was going to games as a kid and when I go to now. I hear racial things thrown at players. I hear disgusting things yelled at players. Like, I'm in the audience. I feel like I wasn't seeing this when I was 13 going to a Mets game or going to a Knicks game. It is different to me.
I'm asking the crowd.
Jets have been bad for a while. That stadium's been notoriously bad.
Jets are, yeah.
That's been a long time.
Yeah.
Are you feeling less comfortable going to sporting events is our question. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Coming up, we had 2 games last night. The biggest thing you need to know before you get your day going today. We've got that for you next. MLB.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Bo Nix, the Denver quarterback, gets the shotgun snap, left tackle block, line drive throw, goal line, leaping catch, touchdown! Sutton left and got it against his chest. 2 yards deep in the end zone. Broncos a touchdown before halftime.
That was Kevin Harlan on Westwood One. That was a Cortland Sutton 20-yard touchdown from Bo Nix. Denver took a 21-3 lead. Final score was 28-3. The Bengals scored on their first drive, Pearl, a field goal. Did not run another play in Broncos territory the rest of the game. It was that kind of night. It's quite frankly been that kind of season for the Bengals ever since Joe Burrow went down with an injury. And now the Broncos, even their record at 2-2, there were some questions about Bo Nix going into this game, and he was able to look pretty good outside of a bad interception he threw in the end zone. Rebounded nicely after that to throw a touchdown. Bo Nix was pretty good last night.
Yeah, no, Bo Nix showed what we kind of expected coming into the season, year two with Sean Payton, which is good, although it's hard to tell against. It's one of those, well, he did it against the Bengals. Can he do it against someone else? I don't know what happened to Jake Browning. He had a 98.4 rating in 2023, passer rating in 2023, and now it's down to 67.9 this year. He was good. I am not imagining this. But last night, he looked great. Lost. Yeah. I mean, he just could not complete a pass. Hard to tell if it was the system. There was nothing there for him, but it just looked so ugly on offense. It was hard to watch.
Yeah, and this is the second straight blowout. 28-3 was the final score. It never felt like the Bengals were in this game at all. And now they lost to Minnesota last week, 48-10 on the road. Now you're Mile High playing. You lose 28-3. I don't even want to know what this is going to look like against Detroit. I mean, Detroit's finding their groove. That's who they play next week. Their defense is coming on. It looks like Detroit is going to be, vying for that number one seed again in the NFC. This is going to be tough here for the Bengals. And, it wasn't the biggest takeaway from last night, the doubleheader on Monday Night Football. I thought the biggest takeaway from both games is Tyreek Hill's injury. Last night in the third quarter, Tyreek Hill basically suffers what they're calling just a pretty bad knee injury. He's getting surgery today. His season is over. I feel like globally that's kind of the biggest headline because I thought Tyreek Hill could get traded at the deadline to a contender. But last night, Bo Nix answered some questions, I guess, against the Bengals. The Bengals' ineptitude it's sad right now. It's a lost season.
Yeah, now here's the debate, and we're getting some flack on social media about this. So I thought Zach Taylor was on a serious hot seat. If he had lost this season, say Joe Burrow is healthy and the defense continued to fall apart and they had a losing record, he's out. Like, there's no way with a healthy Joe Burrow you don't get to the playoffs again. So I thought Zach Taylor was in trouble. Does he really get a pass just because Joe Burrow is hurt? So you're going to run it back next year with a recovering Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor. And I like Zach Taylor, but it did seem like that Joe Burrow and him weren't always on the same page, and there were a lot of issues going on. I can't believe that this quarterback injury could save his job. That seems odd to me.
Not to me. I mean, I don't think that the Bengals are going to be rushing to make a move. Mentioned, Marvin Lewis was there for 15 years without winning a playoff game, Pearl.
Yeah, but I think he had double-digit wins a ton of times in the last several years.
Well,
and then
Zach
when
Taylor's
it started
been
to fall
in a Super
apart.
Bowl. I mean, I guess you could say that I don't know how quick the Bengals would be to make a change, although quotes like this are not going to help. Here is Jamar Chase from last night talking about the poor effort from Cincinnati.
It's hard knowing the type of offense we have, knowing the type of weapons we have in the backfield and the outside. and at tight end. So, I mean, it's kind of hard for us. We know what we're capable of. We know the ins and outs of the offense. We know we're downfield threat team, and everybody else knows it. But, right now we're facing a little adversity, and we got to figure it out.
Okay, we have more from Chase saying basically the offense struggled, and he believes that guys quit.
Just giving up, man. A lot of flags on the field. That comes with being disciplined. Too many flags on the offensive side too. Just out there, man. Offense got to want it more than the defense does. I think they had, how many possessions did they leave us after the first drive? I think it was like 4 possessions straight. You know what I'm saying? Punting. So we gotta capitalize.
Yeah, so basically saying too many flags and giving up 11 penalties last night on the Bengals. I thought some of them were a little ticky-tack. I didn't love it, especially they were at a 4th and 2, and they were going for it, the Bengals, and they had a really bad offsides call, false start call. I did not love that. It kind of weirdly may have set the tone for the rest of the game. They were outpossessed in this game. The Broncos had the ball for basically 38 minutes of game time. The Broncos ran 80 plays to the Bengals 43. It was a shellacking, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready to move on and talk about the future of the Bengals. Like, there's no way they're not going to have a high draft pick out of this, right? Like, are we already out on the playoff conversation? I am.
Yeah, I mean, Burrow's not back for 3 months. Jake Browning is just not, either they have tape on him now and he can't sneak up on people, or this was just a really terrible matchup because Patrick Surtain on Jamar Chase is a fair fight, and Surtain was the beneficiary last night. He was excellent.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this has been a 2-week just debacle for the Bengals. Remember to the offseason, they signed Trey Hendrickson on this weird 1-year deal. So he's gone next year.
Yeah, he's gone. We can't do that again, by the way. I don't want to do another offseason with Trey Hendrickson. Can't do it.
They set up T. Higgins so they could cut him after this season, too. So you might see big changes. But, Joe Burrow is coming back. I always look at the Bengals and I say, what is the big picture with Joe Burrow?
Well, there's no reason to bring him back this year.
No, I'm just saying, is he going to want to stay here for this whole thing? Usually elite quarterbacks never leave their team until they get to 35 or 36. Will Burrow say this is enough of this? Because it's not just the quarterback injury. There's all sorts of problems. This defense is terrible. Maybe they end up at a top 5 pick, and this is going to be probably a very top-heavy defensive draft this year. Finally get a superstar on defense. So I just don't know. What is the silver lining here for Cincinnati? I can't find it right now.
Okay, so you are fast forwarding to this basically to look at all the quarterbacks who we consider elite. Tier 1, Tier 2 quarterbacks, guys who are under contract, what we would call franchise quarterbacks. Teams who absolutely want this quarterback to remain their starter, but him asking out. Like Carson Palmer-esque, asking for a trade.
That's the only guy, and he was in Cincinnati just like Joe
Burrow is. I thought maybe that could have been Justin Herbert, but obviously now with Jim Harbaugh, things are really rolling there.
Justin Herbert? That guy's personality would never ask out of anywhere.
I know, but if you were asking about a tough situation where a guy never, Chargers are a tough place.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the only one, I guess the analogy would be Stafford, who eventually was like, I got to get out of here. But he was in Detroit for 12 years.
A decade.
Yeah. So, it's hard to think. Most elite quarterbacks stay where they are.
Listen, I have always, it crosses my mind every once in a while with Josh Allen, but they have made the franchise so much about him, and he's the centerpiece and focal point. But if he feels like he can't win a Super Bowl in Buffalo, does there ever a point where he wants to maybe go with a Sean McVay? Now he's married to a movie star. Does he want to be in LA? But I think I have to give Josh the benefit of the doubt. He seems very comfortable in Buffalo, and I don't think he's going anywhere.
I think Josh Allen is so... I think not being a nice guy would be hard for Josh Allen.
What about Joe Burrow? He's from Ohio. This could be very difficult for him.
Joe Burrow, who shows up at Fashion Week, I think they're totally different people. Josh Allen is beloved by everybody. He's 100% approval rating. Joe Burrow can come off as cocky. No? You think they're the same?
Joe.
I think that Joe is a hero in Ohio. People blame Ohio State for giving up on Joe, not for him leaving to go to LSU. That's like an all-time miss from the Buckeyes. I think that Joe Burrow would never do that. I think he would not want to look like he's turning his back on his home state.
Now, Cincinnati is not exactly where he's from, though, and it's not exactly. I'm not sure that. Listen, Dan Patrick, my former boss, is from Cincinnati. He's like, it's a little bit different down there. It's kind of it's on the border of Kentucky. I don't know. If he was in Cleveland, maybe that's true. You really think Joe Burrow? I just don't think Joe Burrow has a much different image than Josh Allen. Josh Allen has 600 commercials and is like Mr. Nice Guy. I don't think Burrow is that. But also, too, like, what's he doing? Are we just going to waste the whole career in Cincinnati if they can't get their act together? I think this is organizational. You started the show complaining about Jets ownership.
Yeah.
The Bengals ownership also has major problems. They don't seem comfortable spending money. They do it reluctantly, and they do it the wrong way, and the result is on the field.
Although you have defended the Bengals about their offensive line, that the fact that they did actually put some resources into this offensive line, and maybe, it's
a defense.
The defense stinks, but as far as keeping Joe Burrow healthy, right, trying to keep him upright, what more do they need to do? They did put, names that we know on the offensive line. That's, as far as football is concerned, knowing guys on the offensive line, that's probably a good sign. And then they paid his 2 receivers because he asked them to, put pressure on them publicly. So to me, Burrow has to own a little of this too, does he not? It's so easy to blame the Bengals, and they are not without fault. I'll give you that. But doesn't Burrow also have to take some responsibility also?
For what?
The defense stinks because he was out there lobbying for Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to get paid. That's not the only reason why.
No. That has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it. They've made decisions to not pay their defense and not draft defense for a decade now. Like, they've been neglecting this defense long before they decided to pay T. Higgins this offseason. And listen, they have one great defensive player, and they didn't want to pay him, and they don't want to extend him. So it has nothing to do. They've been not paying Trey Hendrickson long before T. Higgins got into this mix.
Well,
can a casual fan name a second Bengals defender? Probably not. It is the most no-name defense, and not in a good way.
Yeah, not like the Dolphins you're talking about.
We're doing a lot of NFL history. Like, no-name defense, the 72 Dolphins. The Bengals are the no-name defense in a horrible way.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. EJ, do you want to put that poll question up? Could you see Joe Burrow asking for a trade? It's kind of weird now because he's so out of the picture. And we're just watching the Bengals just crumble.
I don't necessarily see it. You do. I mean, it is a valid point. I was arguing against you on Ohio. Also, he's hurt. So, like, what leverage does he have? But I just wonder, is he just going to spin his wheels here? You said it many times. Like, he threw 40-something touchdowns last year. To not make the playoffs with that kind of quarterback play is terrible.
Oh, that was a massive waste. I mean, that's the big failure. Zach Taylor, the head coach of the Bengals, not being able to win now with Jake Browning as a backup on the road Monday Night Football in Denver. To me, not as egregious as last year not making the playoffs. Like that, when you got an MVP season out of Burrow, that was the big failure.
Also, let's talk about the fact that they draft Shamar Stewart, who has 4.5 sacks his entire college career, is the rawest prospect in the entire draft, and then they can't sign him and get him in camp. And that is so typical Bengals. They really need just a reset, and they need to get more serious because I know the Burrow thing is an excuse, but I still think Zach Taylor might be in trouble. He just looked so frustrated. He was going after the officials. I was like, Zach, relax, man. It was a bad call, but you're getting killed. Who cares? He just really looks like he's losing it there. He's so frustrated.
Listen, whoever Joe Burrow wants to be the next head coach is the guy who will be the next head coach. I think he has that kind of power there.
And does it seem like him and Zach Taylor are on the same page? Because there are definitely some fractures there.
Yeah, but again, he did have like an amazing offensive season last year.
Yeah.
And Zach Taylor is the play caller. So obviously it works on the field. It's just the defense is so bad. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Yeah, EJ?
It just feels like there may be a showdown coming soon between Mike Brown and Joe Burrow. I feel like this is the offseason with him talking about, fixing the cap is easy. He's telling busting the boys, guys, just, move this
Howie
here.
Roseman does it.
Move that hair. Howie Roseman does it. I mean, I could take some if you want me to. And Mike Brown seems to be the kind of president, owner, GM that's like, I run this. You players you're there and I'm here.
No one's bigger than the team.
Yeah, and he had a falling out with Carson Palmer famously. Like, I kind of wonder if we're walking down that line at some point.
But Palmer never got him to a Super Bowl. It's maybe a little bit different because Joe is the best quarterback they will ever have. And I realize Boomer Esiason's 20 feet away and won an MVP. I understand that and got them to a Super Bowl. But I think even Boomer would say it.
I mean, yeah, but I think with Mike Brown, he's kind of an ego guy. Like it's I think it goes beyond what you've done for me, because how many good Bengal players or great Bengal players even they let walk out the door, or like Perloff said, they don't want to pay.
Yeah.
They didn't want to pay T. Higgins. They didn't want to pay Chase. They got strong-armed into doing that, and they didn't want to pay their rookies. Eventually, it's like one of those things where if it could happen to them, it could happen to anybody. So I think with Joe Burrow, like I don't know if he needs to be careful, because I think it'd be better if he's gone. But I think for him, he's flexing his muscles a little bit in terms of player personnel. Eventually, they're going to start pointing to him and be like, all right, well, why aren't you getting it done? And who are you to tell me what to do? I own
What
this
the hell
team.
was that all about?
He is a billionaire at the end of the day.
You know, it's funny. There's only two teams, I think, that don't have a GM. One is Dallas, and we spent a lot of time talking about that flawed situation, and the other is Cincinnati. I think we don't talk enough. I mean, this offseason it came out a little. Like Mike Brown gave a couple interviews that just said, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
There were some bad interviews where he said some things that didn't make any sense. I agree with what EJ said. Like, his idea of cap management is the exact opposite of Howie Roseman with the Eagles, who finds a way to fit everyone in. Mike Brown isn't fitting anyone in. This is going to be, I agree, it looks bad over the next couple of years. I know this is 1 year with an injury, but the other thing, too, is can Burrow stay healthy enough to put together this Hall of Fame career?
Yeah, and, the way that it looks like, from my point of view, which I can only go off of the information that's made public to all of us on these websites that talk about contracts, right? And I'm not a capologist, but it does look like Joe Burrow is taking a lot of the cap as far as percentage. Other guys do structure differently, and maybe he wants to restructure, and you hear this all the time with Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, and basically everybody restructures. And Joe Burrow, from what I can see, again, I'm not an expert on the cap, but from what I understand, he takes a large percentage of it. And I think that's partially how the Bengals have it set up. And so I think it does hurt their ability maybe to go out, if they even would go out and spend it on free agents or what have you.
I'm looking at Spotrac, and Joe Burrow is the third highest paid quarterback.
I'm talking about percentage of the cap, though.
Yeah, but whatever. It's still Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are still ahead of him. Those guys eat up a ton of the cap, too. I mean, Mahomes a little bit less, but Josh Allen has a massive contract. He eats a ton of cap.
Restructures almost every 2 years. I think to try to make room. I mean, listen, again, not a capologist. To EJ's point, is this going to get to an inflection point?
There's an important difference, though, between Josh and between Joe Burrow.
Josh starts every game.
That also, Joe Burrow had no problem with them saying, oh, Stephon Diggs, bye-bye. Like, oh, no receivers? Okay, just get guys with the scrap heap and draft the second rounder. We'll figure it out. Joe Burrow has not been that. It's been get my Ferraris out there and pay those guys so I have my weapons. So Josh Allen has a competent defense where there are some guys still getting paid. He has some pros. They're not like superstars, but they have respectable pros, guys who play hard, guys who are veterans, and the Bengals do not. They're not paying anybody on defense because they're paying so much to these receivers and so much to Joe Burrow, because Joe Burrow, I think he thought as long as the offense is good, we'll be good, and that hasn't been the case. So that's a big difference. Josh Allen, he's taking a lot of money, but he's also saying, they're telling him, all right, well, you're not going to have a receiver. He's like, okay.
Yeah, but he knew Diggs was washed. I mean, he knew he had a front. What has Diggs done since he left?
Maybe that's fair, but at the end of the day, like
Jamar Chase is a different thing altogether. And I thought Joe Burrow was just supporting his teammates. You guys are saying like he demanded you have to put all this money to this. I thought he was just kind of being a good teammate.
So where I thought it was a little bit different is Joe Burrow was actively doing media interviews when he's never done that before. He's out and about. I'll give you that. He's Fashion Week and all of that stuff, but he never actively does the Super Bowl circuit and all of that stuff to stump for T. Higgins. Jamar Chase, I thought they were going to pay anyway. Hell, they used a top 5 draft pick on him. I mean, you're not going to pay him. That seems
Why would you criticize him for stumping for T. Higgins? I don't know. I mean, I think that's a good thing.
Because the defense stinks.
So Joe Burrow, he also stumped for, he said, bring Trey Anderson back. I know he said it last, but he definitely said
and also.
But I'm not sure what you guys expect out of him. Like, first of all, I'm not letting T. Higgins out of the building. Last night he was invisible, but generally he's awesome. And they signed him in a really, really team-friendly deal. That deal is nothing. Like, he could be gone tomorrow, and it wouldn't even affect their cap. I don't get this criticism of quarterbacks who take too much. I don't think it's that different than the other elite quarterbacks. I think the problem is with the team, not with Joe Burrow.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. So we are forecasting some doom and gloom for the Cincinnati Bengals. Do you see it that way? Speaking of doom and gloom, the Jets. Sorry, EJ, but it's right there. We will get into the Jets and just how bad it was last night against Miami. The final score is a one-score game, but it was not right. 16 penalties, 13 accepted for 101 penalty yards, 3 turnovers, and just a rash of mental errors. We will get to that. Plus, a future Hall of Famer in the building. Larry Fitzgerald opens up about Marvin Harrison Jr. and so much more. He will join us next. M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break.
He's got something to say, infinity's mice. Believe Biglotti's got something to say, infinity's mice. Bogosh weeps. Andrew Bogosh. Living life in
4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Going through, he's got no time to lose.
Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff Show. It is our pleasure to be joined by an 11-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro, Walter Payton Man of the Year award winner. The one and only Larry Fitzgerald is here on behalf of DraftKings to discuss responsible gaming because it's more fun when it's for fun. Larry, thanks for the time.
So glad to be here. Appreciate you having me.
Okay, we were just talking a little about your betting habits, and it happens generally on a golf course where you are a participant.
Yes.
What's like your best on the golf course betting story where you came out triumphant?
Anytime you're playing against somebody you really like, that you really like beating, like those are always the best times.
Let's name the names.
There's like Andre Roberts, former Jet. Anytime I beat him, like there's something really special about that. Like the money's inconsequential. It's just the fact that I get to hold it over him for a while. And usually when I do beat him, because I don't do it all the time, I don't like to play him right away again. I like to let it just sit in, Yeah.
You got a little Michael Jordan in you. That sounds a little like Jordan. Have you ever matched up with him on the golf course? Notorious golfer.
I love the great one. I'm a member at this golf club down in Florida. So, we play once or twice a year. Like I always try to bring the stakes down a little bit because Mike likes to bet you at a place, whatever that number is that you're uncomfortable with, he likes to take you to that number. So if it's 1,000 a hole, if it's 100,000 a hole, if it's whatever that number that you really don't want to go to, that's the number he tries to push you to,
Pearl, just like you, $100,000 a hole.
Yeah, I was about to say, mine would be like, you'd make me uncomfortable really fast. If he makes you uncomfortable, Larry, I can't imagine what he does to mortals. I mean, anyway, how do you compete?
How do you measure up?
Does he intimidate you or you play your game?
No, it's not. It's not a thing about intimidation. I like to have a game, but I don't want to take a lot of money from my friends, and I don't want to lose a lot of money to my friends. Right? Like it's not fun having to explain, to your buddy's wife why they can't go on the Christmas trip with the family anymore. Hey, little Johnny, I'm sorry, man. Christmas is not going to be as good this year because Uncle Larry took your dad's money. That's not any fun, right?
We were going to go to Turks and Caicos. Now we're going to Tacoma. Yeah. And you can thank Larry. Well, that's what responsible gaming is all about, right?
It's always about, being responsible and making sure that you play within your limits.
So have you tied in with your former partner, Tom Brady? Have you played a lot of golf with him? He strikes me as the nice guy, but one of the most competitive people as well.
The most competitive. He's pulled in a million different directions. So, his golf game is a little sporadic, but he holds himself to a really high standard. And so it's always fun being around him because of his mentality and just how he approaches everything. How he does anything is how he does everything.
Maggie and I actually been talking about it. We would kind of like to see him go all in on the Raiders as a team builder because he is stretched thin. He's doing a great job now on Fox. But what do you think if you were going to give him advice on how do you approach this, having so many different interests?
I think he does a good job of keeping things balanced. Obviously being a father is on the top of that list, and being a good journalist is really high on that list. If you think about golf and other things like that, they're way, way down on that list of things that are most important to him. So, Tom actually has unbelievable balance. And, if you look over his 20-plus year career, I think he's done as good as anybody's ever done in terms of always having that balance. He was married to, the most famous supermodel. He was winning championships every year. He did some things commercially, but never to the point where you feel like he was oversaturating the market. He just had really good balance on how to keep everything. The main thing was always the main thing. You never felt like when you turn on a Patriots game or a Buccaneers game that he was ever distracted with anything else other than winning a championship.
Larry Fitzgerald joining us here on behalf of DraftKings. we mentioned Tom. One more question about him because he got, on TV. He's in the Raiders coaching booth on a Monday night. He's got the headset on. He's 10 feet away from Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator for the Raiders. He's a minority owner. But how much do you think the Raiders' losses, bother him? Because now he's kind of part of their organization.
If you know Tom, anytime he's not winning at anything, it's bothering him. Like, that's just how he's wired. That's how he's going to always be wired. He wants to make that a successful organization. They've been a successful organization. They're one of the most successful in all of sports. But, I know he wants to be able to have input in, player decisions and, who they're drafting, especially at the quarterback position. And, he's somebody who's prided himself on being very successful offensively, and he wants to see that. And, so he wouldn't put his name on something that he wasn't serious about.
We had a argument right before you came in. EJ Stewart, our executive producer, he argues you were in the greatest era of wide receivers. Now, there's certainly the numbers point to that as well, but you came up watching Randy Moss, obviously, in your hometown, and there were other great guys, T.O., you. But now I look at receivers, and they're all so fast, and there seems like there's a lot of guys, especially with gloves, they catch everything. How would you compare today's wide receivers to the peak of your era when obviously you were among the greats of all time?
Well, I think the game has really gotten more difficult in certain ways and a little bit easier in certain ways. And I'll explain. It's gotten more difficult in the sophistication of the defensive schemes, the specialized pass rushers, and like how many looks that you're getting, the exotic coverages are more difficult, right? But it's easier in terms of the physicality. Like, there's not the same consequences of running over the middle any longer. Like, there are no Cam Chancellors and Steve Atwaters and, John Lynch's that would literally decapitate you if that ball was high or you weren't on time with your quarterback. Like, there was consequences, and you paid for it with your body. And so, like, you can play longer. Obviously, the practice schedule is much different, even as I got older in my career. And I think also the college game has gotten a lot better. So you see guys coming in and able to contribute much faster. There's not this huge learning curve that you have to have when you get in the league.
We're talking with Larry Fitzgerald. He's here on behalf of DraftKings to discuss responsible gaming because it's more fun when it's for fun. One of those guys we thought was going to step on to the field in the NFL and immediately be gangbusters was Marvin Harrison Jr. It's been a little bit tougher for him to get his sort of sea legs underneath him, if you will. What's your message to Marvin Harrison? Have you been talking to him at all? Obviously, as a former Cardinal, I imagine you're very invested in his career.
Well, first, I love the young man. And Thursday night obviously started off difficult, but I love to see the way he bounced back. That was one of those situations. You have a tough drop, an interception, things of that nature happen. You could easily bury your head in the sand, and it could go downhill very quickly. That's not what he did. He fought his way through. He made some tough catches down the stretch, made that game competitive largely based on the plays that he made. So, like, that, to me, showed this young man has a lot of fight. It matters to him. He cares. When I talk to people still at the facility, they say he is a tireless worker. I mean, he's first one in the building, catches thousands of balls on the jugs machine. So it's not from a lack of effort, it's not from a lack of concern and care. He cares a lot. And obviously, having that last name, his father's a Hall of Famer. He comes in with like really, really high expectations. And you have to think, he's in his second year. I mean, this is his 22nd game as a professional. I mean, he's a baby. He's learning. And also, like, when I got in the league, I had the great fortune of being able to play with the Anquan Boldin. So, like, all the pressure was not on my shoulders. When he walked in that door, he was asked to be the Messiah. And that's unrealistic to do that to a young man. And, like, he's gotten better. You watch his tape, the way he's getting out of his breaks, the way he's able to high point cat plays. And, I mean, he's gotten significantly better. And you just want to see him to be a little bit more consistent catching the football. But I like his trajectory.
Larry, what about his quarterback? It feels like a bit of a make-or-break year for Kyler Murray. Obviously, has flashes, isn't really been able to put it together consistently yet. Do you think the Cardinals are starting to look over his shoulder, maybe what's the future at this position?
No, I wouldn't say I would get to that point yet. I mean, he's still a terrific, talented player. I think what really hurt them is losing James Conner. Like, he is literally like the identity of that downhill, tough, hard-nosed team that you try to build around, and losing him is going to hurt a lot. But you look at, they lost to San Francisco by, a field goal. They lost this weekend by a field goal. Like, they're not out of any game. That defense is one of the best in the league. They're going to be in games. They're going to be able to compete, and you just want to be able to see Kyler make a few plays that are be able to help, propel his team to the top.
Philadelphia Eagles, A.J. Brown, certain games he completely disappears, and you get the sense, even as they're winning, he is frustrated. Can you put yourself in, you always got targets, I imagine, but what if your team is winning and you're just a decoy at best, like A.J. Brown? And can you understand why he might be frustrated, or do you put that all to the side as long as you get the W?
Absolutely, but I think A.J. probably has a better perspective on that than anybody. I mean, when he was in Tennessee, he had monster numbers, but they weren't doing it. They weren't playing in big games. They weren't competing for Super Bowls. Yeah, his numbers were great, and those things are all really nice, but, I mean, you play this game to win. And I think his maturity is really shown up, it's like yesterday in Tampa. Did he have the gangbusters day? No, but he made some big blocks. He's pulling coverages. He's making them play too high shell, and their running backs are being able to get some traction. So his fingerprints are all over these games, even if the numbers don't show. And I know, like, that doesn't make a receiver happy, but if you ask man-to-man in that locker room, like, how this system goes, Saquon is great and Jalen Hurts is great, but AJ's that dude over there, and his time will come.
Larry, can't tell you how much we appreciate this on behalf of DraftKings, discussing responsible gaming because it's more fun when it's for fun. Although live betting an Eagles game, I don't know how fun that is. Good luck with that. Larry, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Larry Fitzgerald, big fan of A.J. Brown, Pearl. I don't know if Kevin Patullo was feeling as good about this relationship, the offensive coordinator for the Eagles, but A.J. will be fine, right? Posting cryptic things on Twitter is just part of his MO.
Well, last year he was reading a book on the sideline, and they went on to win the Super Bowl, so I am not nervous about this. I know they don't use him, but remember how important he was in the second half against the Rams when they were trailing. So I think... did somebody tell? I've heard A.J. Brown's the one unique weapon they have right now. Saquon, teams are putting everything into stopping Saquon, so I think that weapon's going to go away to a large extent for the Eagles. I don't think Saquon's going to have anywhere near the year last year, so they need a passing game. And without A.J. Brown, they just are not going to have enough weaponry.
Well, can I just make one case here for Howie Roseman as maybe the best GM in the National Football League right now? Certainly one of the most feared GMs, I think. He calls, you hang up the phone. Like, you don't think you're getting the better of Howie Roseman right now. What about trading A.J. Brown? You have Devontae Smith. You don't pass the ball anyway, and you're able to win. Literally 0 completed passes in the second half against the Bucs. I know that's not how you want to do it, but there's been issues with the vertical passing game basically since Jalen Hurts took over as a starting quarterback. You've been in 2 Super Bowls. You've won 1. So, A.J. Brown, we talk about aging receivers, and would this not be the time, especially now with Tyreek Hill last night? Tyreek Hill in that Miami Dolphins-Jets game, he gets hurt. He tears an ACL reportedly. He's undergoing surgery today. If you're talking about a weapon who's available at the trade deadline, could Howie Roseman get a pretty big return still for A.J. Brown? And the fact of the matter is, I think the Eagles' offense probably looks similar.
I don't at all. You're saying get a second-round pick for the future and not...
Or how about a player? How about a defensive player? You've been so worried about the secondary. You've been worried about the defense. I sit next to you every day. I know you're concerned.
You know how hard it is to get a good cornerback in this NFL? No one's giving up a good cornerback for A.J. Brown. That kind of trade never happens.
Well, you're not getting Patrick Surtain, but maybe you get some help.
I don't. Honestly, you might get some help anyway. You can give up a future draft pick. I don't want them to not go all in. I think the offense would be in big trouble without A.J. Brown. They have, Jalen Hurts has that one throw he does, A.J. Brown, where it's about 40 yards downfield to the sideline. That's the best throw Jalen Hurts makes, and you need A.J. Brown on the other end. Devontae Smith can't catch that particular ball. You saw it 2 weeks ago. It's the Rams. This is just recency bias, I think, by not just you, but everybody. I think A.J. Brown is so integral to what they do. He is just a different, if you leave him one-on-one, didn't work against the Bucs. I'm not sure why. I'm willing to throw that game out on the road.
Yeah, 2 catches for 7 yards.
On 9 targets, too. That was bad. And they were trying to establish him in the fourth quarter. There were a lot of funny things that happened in that game. They were up 24-3, and just sometimes you let a lead just go away. But 2 weeks ago, you saw he's top 5 in the league, is talent-wise. Still, he's so strong. If you go one-on-one against him, you're asking for trouble. And what are the Eagles going to do otherwise? I mean, you don't think that coverage is going to shift to Devontae Smith?
Listen, I think you're so about Hurts' legs, Saquon, Devontae Smith. God, I mean, you have. Listen, I'm wondering if it's really just about Howie Roseman being the next Belichick, like Belichick in his prime.
Yeah.
And understanding where the value is for somebody because, it's like, and he's posting all this weird stuff on social, and maybe that means nothing. Maybe it means something. It just, he's a wild card, A.J. Brown.
Well, Saquon Barkley's averaging 3.1 yards per carry this year through 4 games. You're not going back to the Super Bowl with a run game. You need, because the defensive coordinators spent all summer trying to figure out how to stop this guy, and they have totally figured it out. So now it's up to the pass game. You're right, there have been downfield passing issues for sure, but hey, they're 4-0.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. We appreciate Larry Fitzgerald stopping by. Also, is this right? Was the golden age of wide receivers in Larry's day, or maybe even a little bit before that? Or are we in the golden age of wide receivers now because defenses can't do as much? Guys are able to play a lot longer.
Well, I mean, I think passing has changed so much because of 7-on-7. Like these receivers that come in, I think you're much deeper in the receiving class now. Like there's some 5th-round pick out of nowhere who will get a one-handed catch on the sideline that used to be reserved for superstars. So I think there's a lot of. It's a great point by Larry, but there are a lot of big, tall, fast receivers who make incredible catches that we take for granted now. I mean, when I was a kid, like the things that they do now, they couldn't do that at all. And also, there's this new breed of 6'5" tight ends who run 4.5s. That was never a thing. Now there's 5 of them that enter the league every year. Mason Taylor last night for the Jets. That guy would have been the best tight end in the league when I was a kid. And now he's just one of many. I understand what Larry was saying. They are more physical back in the day. But I think receivers are better now. I really do. And I will argue about that because I know, and you're a big fan of that era of receivers as well.
Well, I just think that Larry's right. There are not as many consequences right now for going over the middle. Now, say that to Brian Thomas Jr. He'll tell you, yes, there are, because I don't want to have to go over the middle. And he was getting, led into coverage. But, Larry's right. We all watched it. Ed Reed can't do that. You can't do that kind of thing anymore. No. So, to me, I think you have to hand it to those guys in Larry's day and even before that because they were really putting themselves physically in harm's way to make these catches. I know they still are now. Far be it from me on the couch to say, you're not putting yourself in harm's way. But obviously, it's just a different game.
These little skinny guys that are running around like a Devontae Smith, like you just didn't have those guys. They didn't exist.
Like really. A JSN?
Yeah, they just didn't exist.
But they would put on some muscle.
They were like really role players. They weren't stars.
Devontae Smith gets blown up all the time, by the way. It's the weirdest thing.
I mean, I know. And he played in the 2002. I mean, he would have a 5-year career.
Well, I don't know. The Eagles had Todd Pinkston, who's the skinniest. They were skinny receivers. You had a role. You couldn't be high volume.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like they were role players.
But then the Puka Nacua is a monster. I mean, he could be good any year, and he's probably maybe the best receiver in the game right now.
Okay, coming up next, you're welcome to weigh in on that, by the way, at 888-710-4ISN. Receivers better today or back in the day? And again, thanks to Larry Fitzgerald. Coming up, we have a big question about one of the best college football coaches in America.
The pickle loser, Summit County, won't see me hanging around. Packed my life into cardboard boxes, said goodbye to that town. But now I'm fighting with a U-Haul over charges that don't make sense. Reserved it online for $200, now the bill's 400 cents. No bed, no frame, no sheets in sight, just a blanket and towels tonight. Oh, Daly's fighting U-Haul, Daly's got no bed at all. Sleeping on a carpet floor, still answering Maggie's call. From Maggie and Perloff's YouTube dream to the land where shit can't stream. People out, he won't show up for work, but Daily keeps on with the team. I'm still moving, mostly done now. but my patience wears so thin. U-Haul's gotten me seeing red, but this war I'll surely win. The landlord's knocking at my door. The fridge is empty, the shelves are bare, but I've got Perloff on the stream, so I don't even care. Civility lost, we lost the crown. COVID made him shout too loud. Oh, Daly's fighting U-Haul. Daly's got no bed at all. Carpet, blanket, towels for pillows. Yeah, standing proud and tall. NBA court should stretch out wide, move the people way outside. The money rules and fans won't budge, so Daly sings with wounded pride. Now my YouTube stream is frozen, stuck on my face mid-yawn. Perloff's talking touchdowns, but my picture's just gone. Comments rolling in like thunder. Daly, are you even alive? Swear I'm shouting back at the screen, but the lag eats me alive. Buffering, frozen again. Daly's face stuck with a dumb little grid. Big Melody never shows up. Sheep's live stream won't load up. Kaplan's in the chat just spamming memes, and my Wi-Fi's killing dreams. Daly's fighting U-Haul. Daly's got no bed at all. Sleeping rough but singing strong, with Maggie's show to sing along. The pickle losers fade away. Maggie Perloff saved the day. Melodi's ghosting, ship still dreaming, and Daly's frozen face is screaming. Maybe one day I'll find a mattress. Maybe one day peace will come. Till then I'll fight these moving battles and laugh about what I've become. A carpet troubadour of YouTube, a hero of the comment stream. When life hands you busted U-Hauls and Wi-Fi kills your dreams. Daly's fighting U-Haul. Daly's got no bed at all. Carpet, blanket, towels for pillows, yet he's standing proud and tall. From Maggie Perloff's YouTube dream to the land where ship can't dream. Beat Melody, don't punch in, and my frozen stream will never end. County won't have to see my face again. Pack my life in a U-Haul truck, but the charges, my friend, are a sin. They said $200 online, but the bill came out near $4. I'm still moving, mostly done, sleeping on carpet on the floor. Oh, Daly's fighting U-Haul. Daly's got no bed at all. Carpet, blanket, towels for a pillow. Yeah, he's standing proud and tall. From Maggie Perloff's YouTube stream to the land where bad calls gleam. He'll tell you COVID broke civility, and NBA courts should stretch the dream. I said push those fans way back, make the hardwood wide and free. But the teams won't lose that money, so they'll keep us cramped, you see. I'm in the old apartment still, but my spirit won't be shook. Cause people out, he never shows for work.
Just looking at
and Chef can't get up.
Phone for the World Series odds. Guess who's number one? Philadelphia Phillies are now plus 425. Believe it or not, the Mariners are second and the Dodgers have fallen to third. The Dodgers were one when this opened. I don't know what happened. Get into the rest versus rust debate. I hate the rust. I do not want to see baseball.
For baseball playoffs.
Baseball is such a routine sport. I do not like my team having to sit there and wait for this wild card round. I feel like that gives it's a disadvantage to be good in baseball. Typical baseball fashion. We'll see how it plays out. Last year, of course, the Dodgers were the best team and went on a run. But it's an exciting day.
I love this day. I think this is great. We get baseball all day long. We were just talking about, did you prefer the wild card being best of 3, or did you like the 1-game wild card? And I loved the 1-game wild card, except for when my team was playing in it, and then I absolutely hated it because it was way too nerve-wracking. But as a sports fan, the 1-game wild card was dope. Andrew Bogusch is here with all the latest headlines. What's up, folks?
All these headlines are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with our easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Lou Holtz, Adam Gaze, and now Aaron Glenn, the only coaches in Jets history to start their tenures 0-4. Nobody's been 0-5. Challenge accepted.
Very disappointing. Very disappointing. And there's no way you can win any game with 13 penalties and 3 turnovers. It just can't happen.
But it happened last night in Miami. All of those mistakes negating the fact that the Jets outgained the Dolphins. Justin Fields had over 300 yards of offense and 2 touchdowns, but they lose 27-21. They were down 17-3 and 24-10, but scored with 1:49 to go, then forced a punt, but Miami downed it at the 2-yard line. And a bunch of laterals did not work on the final play. Miami's run game worked most of the night. Devin Achane running for 99 yards and a score, setting up Tua to throw 2 touchdowns to Darren Waller. But the Finns will finish the season without Tyreek Hill. Dislocated knee, that's confirmed. Now reports of a torn ACL and other ligament surgery later today. You guys have already talked about how oddly happy Hill was being carted off the field in the third quarter. Here's head coach Mike McDaniel.
I saw him make eye contact and rip a joke or two to Waddle and Devon. And, I think a lot of guys got back into the game, provoked by what he said verbally.
It was still
That's such an odd way to put it.
Yeah, I think that was the wrong word, but yeah. I get the sentiment.
Yeah, I guess that they were inspired by him.
Well, Tyreek Hill made it easier for them to get their head back in the game.
Right.
Well, because
by
that was
joking about it and not making it so somber, right?
Yeah, that was one of those ugly injuries. You saw guys get on their knees immediately, praying. Tyreek Hill, look, team first guy. Told you.
Yeah, right.
That was the first game of last night. Broncos-Bengals about an hour behind, but it was not worth your time. Denver a 28-3 smothering to level its record at 2-2. The Bengals only managed 159 yards and 9 first downs.
Can someone help me out with something? Because I didn't watch this game at all because I was still raging about the Jets. On the scale of 1 to 10, what was Troy Aikman's grumpiness level watching that game?
No, because he loves Sean Payton.
Okay.
Former Cowboys coach.
Because I saw the score and I saw how the Bengals offense was going. I'm like, Troy Aikman just must be just beside himself.
No, I think he went into the game wanting to blow up Bo Nix, and then Nix actually played pretty well, and so I think he couldn't do it. Because there was a moment where Joe Buck's like, I know my partner wants to get into Bo Nix and his throwing mechanics and his footwork, and then Nix was like, not bad.
Yeah, Troy is getting some love this morning because he had a pretty good ref rant that people appreciated.
Did love that. He should have been on the Jet game then because we could have used some rants.
Well, those guys were on your side, at least at the end of the game. The hands to the face and that late hit on the last drive that you guys had.
Refs suck.
I bet you that
was some great sarcasm. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I'll bet you that Broncos-Bengals game, lowest rated Monday night game of the year. I will almost guarantee it because the Jets-Dolphins was still competitive. So why would you watch the Broncos-Bengals was almost immediately not competitive? I'll bet you literally the lowest single rated because the 2-game format is tricky. You're automatically watering down both games, but I think you had to stay on the Miami-New York game longer.
After that Justin Fields touchdown run, it was like, all right, maybe they got a little life. Narrator, they did not.
I think that they expected Joe Burrow to be in that game when they made that schedule.
Yes.
Obviously.
That's a safe assumption.
Yeah, because I think Troy and Joe were like, what are we doing here? But then again, was it Romo and Nance did the Bengals and Vikings last week?
Again, we were hoping Joe Burrow would be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, they knew
and J.J. McCarthy.
They knew Jake Browning was there, and they assigned him that game. That was
true.
weird. By the way, in 2 weeks, the Jets and the Broncos play in London at 9:30 a.m. You get to watch that garbage.
Thanks.
Plan accordingly.
That's going to be a tough watch.
Who anyone thinks we carry the water for the league?
I mean, even the league's going to admit, okay, this might be a chance to do stuff with your family. That is going to be a
watch if you want.
I mean, it's going to be a weird penalty fest. It's going to be ugly.
Crap is crap. England, I apologize.
I was going to say, is there another place we can export football that like we kind of want it, but we kind of don't? It's like, hey, Saudi Arabia, you want a game? Here you go.
Yeah, the deterrent for countries that want to get in.
We'll send you a game. You're not going to like it, but we'll send you one.
The Dublin game was fine. That worked out good. Everyone seemed to have a fun time.
Yeah, but they did college games in Dublin. They have a little... We're used to that a little bit.
Got it.
Yeah. Folks, thanks. Appreciate you. Coming up, that Tyreek Hill injury, not great. Also, the Jets were impossibly bad last night. We'll dive into a little more of that and college football as well. MMP.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining.
Well, the pickle losers of Summit County won't have to see my face again. Pack my life in a U-Haul truck, but the charges, my friend, are a sin. They said $200 online, but the bill came out near $4. I'm still moving, mostly done, sleeping on a carpet on the floor. Oh, Daly's fighting U-Haul, Daly's got no bed at all. Carpet, blanket, towels for a pillow, yeah, he's standing proud and tall. From Maggie Perloff's YouTube stream to the land where that calls gleam, until you COVID broke civility and NBA court should stretch the dream. I said push those fans way back, make the hardwood wide and free, but the teams won't lose that money, so they'll keep us cramped to see. I'm in the old apartment still, but my spirit won't be shook, cause people out, he never shows for work, and Chef can't get a live stream booked. Oh, Daly's fighting U-Haul, Daly's got no bed at all. Carpet, blanket, towels for a pillow, yeah, he's standing proud and tall. From Maggie and Perloff's YouTube stream to the land where that calls gleam, I'll tell you COVID broke civility and NBA court should stretch the dream. Raise a toast to the moving blues and the streets that never go live. Daly's rage is our amusement on the Maggie Perloff Drive. Yeah, Daly's fighting U-Haul, Daly's got no bed at all. The pickle losers can't contain him, he's still answering Maggie's call. From Summit County down to YouTube town, this story's stranger than it seems. Daily COVID broke civility and NBA court should stretch the dream. Raise a toast to the moving blues and the streams that never go live. Daly's rage is our amusement on the Maggie and Perloff drive. Yeah, Daly's fighting you all. Daly's got no bed at all. The pickle losers can't contain him. He's still answering Maggie's call. From Summit County down to YouTube town, this story's stranger than it seems. Daly's life is one long moving song, fueled by carpets, courts, and dreams.
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Empty backfield. Tua back to throw to Tyreek. Got him. He's got a first down. What a great throw and a good catch by Tyreek. Malachi Moore, the fourth-round pick out of Alabama, on the tackle. Tyreek's banged up.
Yeah, they waved him over real quickly.
Thank you to Miami Dolphins radio. That was not good. That was the third quarter Jets-Dolphins game last night. Dolphins get the win, the first one on the season, but they pay a major price. Tyreek Hill has suffered a torn ACL, according to reports. His season is over. And listen, this was a game last night between two teams that are not going anywhere this year. Now, one team, it looks like the Miami Dolphins, despite this win, they could absolutely clean house at the end of the season, Pearl. And I'm almost expecting them to, barring some crazy run. The Jets, on the other hand, are kind of at the beginning of something. We're just not sure what that is right now. And it's a new coach, a new GM, a new quarterback, but it doesn't look like it's going in the right direction at all.
Yeah, but that's how turnarounds work, right? You start slow. You presume at a normal situation, a franchise quarterback will come next year because they'll have a top 5 pick. So, and this is, fortunately for Jets fans who want to see silver lining, this is exactly how Dan Campbell's stint went in Detroit with Aaron Glenn as his defensive coordinator. So you have to build from ground zero here. We knew that. I mean, Jets fans can't be surprised by the slow start.
No, but Aaron Glenn did kind of promise that they were going to be competitive this year. And I guess you could say that week 1 against the Steelers, I guess they were competitive. Week 3 against the Bucks, they were competitive. And last night was such a weird one because they actually outgained Miami in this game. They had more first downs. They were better on third down, but they also had 16 penalties. 13 of them were accepted for 101 yards, 3 turnovers, and just dumb stuff. Like Isaiah Williams fair catched a punt inside the 5. You know, What are you thinking? Like, do you guys even practice? What is that about? And then also Aaron Glenn deciding to punt on 4th and 10 when you're down 11 with 7 minutes left to go. Just felt like a surrender, at least from a lot of the Jets fans that we have in our life. So even if that was defensible, like, it was a comedy of errors.
I mean, they were moving backwards on that drive. I don't know what going for it on 4th down would have done.
I mean, because you're trying to win the game.
But I mean, that kept the game. At least there was a glimmer of hope after that. Because the funny thing is, the Dolphins weren't doing anything on offense in the second half. And the Jets, whatever the Jets were doing at the end, I'm like, why weren't they doing that all game? They were moving the ball like crazy. Justin Fields, there was an interesting part. Like, I figured they're going to move on from Justin Fields. But then when they decided to pass the ball last night, it looked good. Really good.
Here is Justin Fields saying the Jets killed themselves in this game.
We shot ourselves in the foot a lot, turning the ball over, penalties, and that sorts. But it's very frustrating. But I'm not losing faith. Nobody in the locker room is losing faith, and all we're gonna do is keep our head down and work.
I mean, I've lost faith, but I never really had any. Breece Hall was also asked to sum up the loss. This is according to Zach Rosenblatt on Twitter. He said, teams shoot themselves in the foot, and we come back and shoot ourselves in the head. I mean, that is a grim and dim view of your team, and that is exactly right. And not only that, the defense was just terrible. You're talking about, could they move the ball on offense? I mean, they could barely find Garrett Wilson. That's a problem. But the defense was terrible. Darren Waller off the couch for 2 touchdowns last night. Cook Sauce Gardner on one of them. They had 0 quarterback hits, 0 sacks, 0 forced turnovers this entire season.
Cook Sauce Gardner.
Well,
the guy jumped out of this building and landed with both. I don't know what that was. That was crazy. Like, I don't know how Darren Waller, who I consider a friend, by the way, and I'm so happy for, how he caught that ball off the couch. I have no idea. That was one of the best catches of his career.
Sauce Gardner's one of the highest paced corners in the league, or maybe the highest, actually.
That was a crazy catch. There's nothing like that. Ball was put at the very back of the end line. That's not a Cook situation. Trust me, there were other guys getting cooked. The second touchdown Darren Waller had, there were 3 Miami Dolphins running wide open in the end zone. And by the way, could you just tackle Devon Achane just once?
No, their defense is not good.
I think, by the way, I think the Jets have some W's coming up. I will tell you right now, like, they're battling in these games. They play the Cowboys next week. If you trust the Cowboys in that game, I don't know.
Dak Prescott's going to have 500 yards of offense in that game.
Yeah, I don't. And then they have Denver, by the way, Carolina, Cincinnati, Cleveland. Like, if you're one of those people hoping the Jets tank like they did that year, they were trying to get Trevor Lawrence and didn't get him and got Zach Wilson instead, then I don't know. They're in these games, and if they clean up the mistakes a little bit, then they're going to have some W's. For what it's worth, I mean, I'm talking like 4 or 5 wins.
Sure. I mean,
which is really what Aaron Glenn should have made the goal this year.
Yeah, that's not what he was saying publicly. And the other thing, too, about Aaron Glenn, and we'll see how this goes in New York, like, you got to give him a little time, but he was also, like, defiant, and he was coming in doing the Bill Parcells impersonation, and now your team is one of the least disciplined teams we've ever seen. And it's because it was on Monday Night Football that it got exposed for everyone else to see it. And so, you know, that's the thing about these guys. And listen, again, Aaron Glenn may end up being a Hall of Fame coach. Who knows? I don't know. You don't know. But when you come in with the attitude of like, I know it all and we're not going to be the same old Jets, and then you literally live up to same old Jets, it makes your words look a little empty. Because I'm asking you, like, you know, you're the head coach of the team. You know, you got a guy fair catching a punt inside the 5. I'm just saying, like, that. You can't be, we're not the same old Jets, and then do something like that and expect people to buy it. I
mean, unless he does what he did with Xavier Gibson and starts cutting more guys. I mean, he had to cut half the team in order to get rid of all the mistakes from yesterday. But I mean, I think that's his only play.
Well, was that eyewash, though, EJ? I know you're a noted Jets fan.
Oh, no, I loved when he did that.
People liked it, but has it made the team that much better?
Wait. They're not the same old Jets. They're definitely I would say 30% worse. So that's something. I mean, that team the last 2 years was way better than this team so far. I mean, they're 0-4 is even rare for the Jets.
Maybe it's like a 2 steps backward. You know, you got to go back to go forward. But that's the one thing I wondered about the Gibson thing when he cut him after the 2 mental mistakes in the opener. Would it actually get guys to like sit up, pay attention, like, oh my gosh, my job could be on the line, or does it make guys play tight? And are they always wondering, oh my gosh, am I next? Am I playing for my job on every single play? Because you don't want guys thinking out there. You want them playing free.
Yeah. Teams will shoot ourselves in the foot, and we come back and shoot ourselves in the head.
Yikes.
I mean, that's the game you play, and that's a tough game that Aaron Glenn is playing. But I do feel like he came from a coach in terms of the previous predecessor with Robert Saleh, where they seemed like there was no accountability. Guys were making mistakes. They were playing every snap. It seemed like Robert Saleh didn't care on the field. Like, the one thing about Aaron Glenn is every one of those penalties, he's losing his mind. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel like it's an act. It feels like he actually really is killing him to see his team make these mistakes, where it seemed like they had a coach who didn't care. So I do feel like that does go a long way with the fans. I think it will go a long way with the team eventually. But the problem is they also don't have the talent to not make these mistakes. They're not very good. They have a lot of bad players who are forced to play a lot of snaps, make a lot of key plays like in punt return and kick return. So these mistakes are going to happen. That's where that dance is going to be tough. Again, are you going to cut half the roster? Because there are going to be more mistakes that are going to happen.
But I understand they have a lot of, like, what were supposed to be young Pro Bowl type players. Obviously, Garrett Wilson, who Maggie mentioned, did not get the ball until it was too late. They have Sauce Gardner, Quentin Williams. They have Will McDonald's looked really good this year, that weird pick that no one understood. Like, there's a lot of names. Is it just but then the Dolphins receivers will get into the secondary. I'm like, who's that guy? There are a lot of young guys out of nowhere. I think it's a roster problem more than Aaron Glenn. And also, they're going to probably get a top 3 pick, so they have a star coming.
Yeah, well,
keep that in mind.
We'll see, though, because, then we're going to have to look at the college quarterback class, and then you're going to play that game. Is this guy better than Justin Fields? And, that's going to be an interesting one. On the flip side of things for Miami, you said you see some maybe wins coming up for the Jets. I think you said you see some wins maybe coming up for the Dolphins as well. Now, Tyreek Hill is done for the year. Whatever you think about Tyreek Hill personally, that's a bummer. And I thought the next thing we'd see from Tyreek Hill was actually him getting traded to a contender. Legal issues and all. I thought somebody would see him not as maybe like as a finishing piece, not the focal point of your offense, but I always thought he was going to somehow end up back in Kansas City. But obviously that's not going to
What kind of pick do you think you'd have to give up if he hadn't got hurt?
Nothing. Like that's what I'm saying. That's why I think guys would do it.
I don't think the Dolphins would give him away for a 6. I think they would want like a 2nd or 3rd, and I don't know if the Chiefs would. I don't think the Chiefs would do that. But the Dolphins have a big test. The next 4 weeks, they have the Panthers in Carolina. They host the Chargers, go to the Browns, and then they go to Atlanta. Then their schedule gets really hard. So they need to really show something here. I still think we're in save Mike McDaniel mode. I don't think anything is guaranteed here. Just that win last night, I would say his seat is still very hot.
I think is on fire. What your old host, your old boss used to say, Dan Patrick, and fuego. It's like,
right, but if they go to 3-3, then it cools down for sure.
I don't think so. Because you're right. Maybe you get a couple wins here or there, which, by the way, I don't think they're beating the Chargers. I don't think they're beating Cleveland in Cleveland, and I don't think they're even beating Atlanta. But then Baltimore, Buffalo, Washington, you got to go to the Steelers.
Ooh. Actually, that's even better than I thought. Okay. Washington and the Saints. I mean, is Washington something now?
Well, we'll see when Jane Daniels comes back. That game's also overseas.
But at least you saw a functional offense last night where they did something interesting where they kept moving Tua around so he wasn't a sitting target. Devon Achane, we love that guy. He just can never stay healthy. Jalen Waddle will fill in for Tyreek Hill. I think there are signs to say, okay, the offense can do something. Now, they have invested so much, Maggie, in that defense. And even last night, you saw it not being aggressive or impressive. Because Justin Fields, when he started to throw the ball, was getting huge chunks of yardage at will. So that's where I really want to see Miami step up too, is their defense. Mike McDaniel, I always give the offensive guys a bit of a pass, but they have Bradley Chubb. Like they should be winning games with defense too, and that has never happened there.
No, 888-710-4ISN. Tyreek Hill, season over. Is the career over? I don't know. I mean, we talked about his speed is such a huge part of his game. To be coming back now on the wrong side of 30 off of an ACL. And if, let's say, for example, the Dolphins just clean house, right? Say it's a full clean as far as coach and GM. A little hard to get rid of Tua's contract because that's pretty big. But let's say someone wants to start over and they're like, you know what? We don't want you in our building. Like, is there someone else who's going to definitely pick him up off an ACL? Again, I think the Chiefs are always out there. They know him. They've put up with so much from him.
Yeah, there was a report that they were interested, right? But, I mean, they got rid of him when he was amazing. Why would they want him now?
Well, they also got a first-round pick for him, right?
Even Rappaport this morning also tweeted that with surgery today, it's possible that Tyreek Hill will undergo additional surgeries following today's surgery. There's no guarantee he'll be ready for 2026.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah,
he's cleaning up other things?
Yeah, so I just think that he might have a broken leg. There may be things they got to just stabilize before they can do the ligament stuff. So if you're talking about him out this year, then also maybe not playing next year, I think it's likely. 2 years removed from this injury, even if he gets picked up by a team, is he going to be a guaranteed roster spot? He feels like a guy that maybe someone gives him a shot and he tries out in training camp, but is he a focal point of a team anymore? I'm very worried about his career.
Yeah, he'll try and come back
he's
for a
definitely
long
gonna try.
time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think his career, he was such a speed player. It was inevitable that he was going to hit that 30-year-old wall. There was no way that wasn't going to happen. I don't think teams are going to be lining up for him at all. But I'm really, really curious. Mike McDaniel's supposed to be this offensive genius. Let's see you do it without Hill. Because I think there was a chemistry problem with him there. I mean, Tua was openly insulting Tyreek Hill not a month ago.
Yeah, he said he had to win back the trust of the team because Tyreek had sort of weirdly asked for a trade after the season ended last year, like in the locker room.
So maybe there's a addition by subtraction in the locker room, and maybe Tyreek Hill rallies. I think Tyreek Hill has his guys. Well, I think Tyreek Hill also has his guys in that locker room. I think maybe everyone rallies around him a little bit to
like win it for Tyreek. I don't know.
I just think that
feels a little strange.
I do think that there's something weird going on with the Dolphins. Like, they showed up this year and just not ready to play in that Indianapolis game, and they were well below their talent level. I'm very curious to watch them. Maybe they rally for their coach. If they're 3-3, Maggie, I'll tell you right now that are 3-4. This is a weird thing. Tua has won at a high percentage of his career. Like, then they'll probably let Mike McDaniel finish this out, then start over later.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. So you're welcome to weigh in on last night's games. Impossibly bad for the Jets last night. Miami gets their first win of the season, but they lose Tyreek Hill. We'll get to the flip side of things, which was the Broncos with a big win at home over the very hapless Cincinnati Bengals. They used to just be hapless on defense, Pro. Now they're hapless on offense with Jake Browning under center for the injured Joe Burrow. We'll get to that next.
I'll tell you one guy that I'm not going to be looking at on Prize Picks unless I'm going less than, and that is Jake Browning, because Prize Picks last night was playing a lot of different sports. I got into it big time, and I got to admit I took an L, but that's the great thing about Prize Picks. You get right back in tonight. The season is rolling. Tonight is a big baseball. We got some WNBA on the app. Prize Picks, so simple to use. You just pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projections, and if you're right, you could win big.
Also love this about Prize Picks for our friends in California, Texas, Florida, Georgia. Prize Picks is your spot, plus 40 more states in our great country. So get on board with Prize Picks. Say sneaky awesome sports day today. 4 different wildcard games starting at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Get on Prize Picks. Just download the app today. Use the code MNP. Get $50 in bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code MNP on Prize Picks to get $50 in bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Mand P. You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Maggie Perloff Show. We'll get back to football in just a moment. We've got some college football stuff for you. Big question about Kirby Smart and his legacy when it comes to just Alabama and being 1-7 against Bama. But we'll get to that in a second. I don't know if you guys saw this, but it's been a really big story in the NBA this offseason about Kawhi Leonard, okay? And not about an injury, about Kawhi Leonard, Pearl, and where the LA Clippers and their billionaire owner, Steve Ballmer, circumventing the salary cap to try to get Kawhi Leonard more money to come to the Clippers, okay?
Yep.
So it's been this big investigation that Pablo Torre has been doing on his podcast. He's done 5 different episodes about this, okay? He's got it. He's got the receipts. He's got the bank statements. Pablo has people on the record, off the record. Every single part of this scam leads to what looks like dead to rights. Steve Ballmer was circumventing the salary cap to try to make Kawhi Leonard. Like, it almost lines up to the penny of how much he was, had to leave on the table to go to the Clippers, and then how much this company aspiration that ended up going into bankruptcy ended up paying him to do a no-show marketing job. Okay?
Yeah.
Pablo's got it all. He's got everything, every financial statement you could possibly want. So Kawhi stands up there yesterday at Media Day, and they're like, so Kawhi, what was going on with the no-show job to make $40 million? Like, I don't know. It's like, you don't know? What do you mean you don't know? It's like, it was like 3 or 4 years ago. It was a long time ago. Yeah. It's like,
companies belly up.
I don't do conspiracies.
I don't do conspiracies. Journalism, quick clickbait. It's like, you're gonna have to come more correct than that for anyone to believe that you were not benefiting from this.
He said he did things for the company, but no one's ever seen it.
Yeah. Then they asked him what. He said. Then he deflected.
Things.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we see him on the New Balance commercials. We know he's capable of being in as shocking as it is that anyone wants Kawhi Leonard to be their pitch man.
There are billboards in LA of him. I've been to LA and seen them.
Well, at least a billboard doesn't involve personality.
I mean, that's true.
And he doesn't speak at all in the New Balance commercial, which is probably smart. And listen, he's a great basketball player. He's just not charismatic. And that's actually in an email in the latest episode of Pablo Torre that the people who work for this company who have no idea why Kawhi Leonard is their most highly paid spokesperson, more than Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert Downey Jr. and all these other people. They're like, no one knows who he is. At least we should get Steph Curry. That's in an email.
Well, Steph Curry would have probably asked to do something, or probably was that this is weird.
I don't know. Anyway, it's just like, I love that Kawhi just stood up there and was like, I don't know, it was a long time ago. It's 3 years ago. I have no idea if $48 million was dumped into my bank account.
I just wonder if this has become such a sideshow that it actually does in some way, I don't say taint his legacy, but this almost is, when he retires, this is going to be a thing we're going to remember about him. Not that he was a two-time champion, all-time defensive player, two-way player. It's going to be, remember that weird thing he did with the Clippers where he was getting money under the table from some weird tree planting company? Like, it feels so ridiculous. It's not even like there's anger around or outrage. It's just so bizarre that, like, his actually great NBA career may be a little overshadowed by this bizarro situation towards the end of his career. Yeah.
I think history will remember him. I think he'll be more noted for load management. I think he's going to be the face of that, but also to mercenary 1-year title. I think this will be third probably. The load management thing was a big deal for him.
Is he like weirdly the most interesting person in the NBA? It's just he's also the least interesting person in the NBA.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, there's nothing in a million years he could do to make me care at all. Like nothing, even in play, because he's only going to play 43 games and they're going to go out in the first round. Like, what are we even doing here? Why is Ballmer paying this guy? That's the other thing. Like, you've
always maintained that Ballmer is just not smart at basketball.
Ballmer's a fancy middle manager who got to Microsoft at the right time. And I'm sorry, my computer, I'm on an Apple, so I guess I not have to worry about that. Like, give me a break. Like, there's nothing. Everyone's like, he's a genius. Like, he signed James Harden and Kawhi Leonard to try and win an NBA title.
Not a pickleball title? Like, what else?
Like, what is it? Like, how on earth did he expect that to happen? I don't understand. Like, I think Ballmer definitely did everything. Like, everything that Pablo said he did, he definitely did because he's an idiot. I mean, James Harden, and I argue with a lot of people, like, what on earth did you expect? You didn't think you thought you were going to win a Game 7 with James Harden? Of course Ballmer did this.
He's the 10th richest person in the world.
By accident, apparently.
Because Bill Gates stole some software from somebody else in 1977. I've seen the movie. I know exactly what happened.
Imagine being a fancy middle manager and being the 10th richest person, not in the U.S.
How do you think this works?
In the world.
Yeah, that's how this works. The top three happen to be families that own oil. Like, they don't, brain power and that have nothing to do with each other. I don't think. Of course, I'm sure someone will cite something else about Ballmer, but does he even code? Did he invent anything?
They say he's one of the greatest investors of all time. I mean,
when you have $40 billion to invest, you're going to make some good investments.
Or not.
Is that guaranteed? Honestly, I'm not, like, honestly, you could burn through your cash. And Pablo is one of his biggest stories when he was younger was how all these athletes are broke because of all the stupid things they put money into. Having money, I don't think guarantees you being good with keeping it.
I would think with a $3 or $4 billion base, you could be very aggressive in your
I don't know.
In your investment. But wait, did he invent anything? Like, he's not even, I don't think so.
I don't know.
1,160 toilets.
That.
He
that I appreciate.
And the
that
fan
I
wall.
appreciate.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, what's his mark at Microsoft? I don't really know.
I don't know. You said you saw the movie.
Well, he
I
wasn't
didn't
part
even
of
see
it.
the
It
movie.
was all about Bill Gates and, Bill Gates stealing that software. You guys I've seen a bunch of movies about the late 70s, early 80s in Silicon Valley. A lot of shenanigans. A lot of
you think?
If they had NBA teams back then that were doing this kind of thing, there would have been a lot of dirty salary cap moves.
I guess it's just funny to me that Pablo's got a paper trail that goes from here to LA, and the defense from Kawhi Leonard and Steve Ballmer to a certain extent is just like, nope. He got scammed.
In some ways, Mark Cuban's been the person defending the Clippers the most in this. Not even
Still doing
Ballmer or Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, and Mark Cuban looks like an idiot too. And
He does.
I think that we all, like, to a certain extent, kind of respected Mark Cuban's hustle. You know, he got rich in the tech boom, bought the Mavs. Obviously,
He put a phone up to a radio game. he was. I mean, there's never been a more right time, right place guy in the history of the
He'll say
planet.
that too. I mean,
No, and I got that from him. But he also said the NFL is going down the toilet because they're too greedy, which is ironic because the NBA is give me all the money and I'm going to spread my product out to where nobody ever sees it. Like he's been exactly the greedy league who's, kind of destroying the future of the NBA by being greedy.
Well, he said fat hogs get slaughtered. That was like 15 years ago, and the NFL
right before the NFL completely took off.
But, listen, I think that people like Cuban. He seemed kind of like an outsider when he took over the Mavs and he was kind of shaking things up and taking on David Stern. Then they actually win, maybe resurrects a franchise a little bit. But then we find out a lot of things that were going on with the Mavericks when he was in charge. Really, really unseemly.
Oh, yeah.
And
I forgot about that.
Then he sells the team to the casino people, and the first thing they do is trade Luka Doncic.
They box him out. Nico's like, you're out of here, buddy.
Well, I would say that too if I were Mark Cuban. I didn't have anything to do with this. My fingerprints are not on this.
I mean, you put Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving together.
It's almost as smart as Kawhi Leonard and James Harden.
Yeah, I just can't get up for this Kawhi thing. I don't know what it is.
Why?
Yeah,
You don't
I
find
just
it
don't.
funny?
It's such a great
No,
little
not
scandal.
really. Like I saw the Kawhi thing. Like no, it just doesn't do anything for me.
See, to me, it does because it's first of all, it's a scandal where actually people did get kind of hurt by this. The people who worked for this company that was like creating the scam, you feel bad about that for sure. But
that's not necessarily because of what the Kawhi and the Clippers did.
Oh, it's just so impossibly stupid. So I kind of like that. I like when billionaires get caught for doing dumb stuff. But my big thing is, what are the consequences going to be? Like, that's the major question because, I'm sure Steve Ballmer is used to getting away with everything and anything because that's what happens to ultra wealthy people in our country, in the world. You never feel like you have consequences. So the fact that Pablo Torre just keeps embarrassing them, in some ways, the public shame is going to be the only way that they get punished. So I do kind of like that they're hung out here to dry and we can all point and laugh because there are no other consequences for billionaires, period, exclamation point, end of story. So be out here in the public and let us all laugh at you and you are emperor that has no clothes and that's the one thing we get to laugh at.
So this is more like an eat the rich take.
Kind of, but just in a basketball sense, because that's the only, there's never, like, what are they going to do? Is Adam Silver going to take away draft picks? Like, the Clippers are not interesting.
Well, yeah.
There's no consequence we're going to see from a basketball
that's
standpoint.
what I'm saying. Like Kawhi
toilets.
and the Clippers from a sports standpoint are not interesting.
I'm just not expecting much from Adam Silver, whose bosses are the owners. Like, what are they going to throw the book at him?
Right.
That's also just like a consequence of them being the Clippers, though, right? Because we kind of like when the Timberwolves had the Joe Smith thing, like the fact that they didn't have first round picks for 3 years is essentially why Kevin Garnett ended up being out the door because they couldn't build around him and the team was terrible. And a guy who could have been a foundational piece, they didn't have enough talent around him. With this team, they're a team that's kind of on the end and they don't have a lot of picks anyway. So it seems like even if they give them that kind of punishment, it won't really matter for them. They're going down the tube anyway, one way or another.
And there's no monetary fine that's going to hurt them.
Definitely not.
So it's just we get to point and laugh at Steve Ballmer. So that's it. That's satisfying enough.
For some people, not everybody feels that way.
Okay, the other billionaires.
I don't know. I feel. Yeah. Anyway, the problem is like from the sports angle, there's nothing here. Like because the Clippers were not doing anything, and Kawhi is only gonna play 50 games at most. I mean,
he looks good in his
How many games did he play last year?
I think for him, he played a full season, didn't he?
I know. For him, like prorated. Prorated 82 games for him. Yeah, he was probably in the 50s last year. But, I mean, I was actually impressed at how good he looked. Because remember, the whole thing last year where he couldn't play for Team USA because he had this secret knee surgery and he looked terrible. So then they didn't play him to start the year. I was curious, like, after playing a lot in the playoffs, would he look a certain way? But he looked strong. He looked good. So I don't know if he's going to start the year. Like, that whole situation is weird.
Let's get to Bogues. He's got the latest and greatest. Awesome sports day today.
But we go to last night where it doesn't get much more one-sided than it was in Denver. The Broncos steamrolling the Bengals 28-3, running 37 more plays, outgaining them 512 to 159. But all it did was get those Broncos back to the 500 mark with a trip to Philadelphia coming this weekend. Here's Bo Nix.
Any win in the league's momentum, and it's a short week, so we don't have much time to think about it. And we're going to be in Philly soon, so it's it's an important week. We have to get back to the basics and really figure out what's holding us back.
Nix did throw a pick last night, but also 2 touchdowns. He ran for 1 as well. Jamar Chase, only 5 catches, still without Joe Burrow. At one point, the Bengal receiver had a short, somewhat animated sideline discussion with head coach Zach Taylor.
I'm always frustrated if I'm losing, you know what I'm saying? But it's part of the game, man, Sometimes your emotions take over. Sometimes it look like what it's not supposed to. But it happens.
The Jets, frustrated in Miami, still winless after a 27-21 final. Gang Green had some better numbers than the Dolphins, but gave the ball away 3 times, committed 13 penalties. The Dolphins, meanwhile, get their first win, but at the cost of Tyreek Hill, thanks to that nasty left knee injury. Reports this morning said he suffered multiple torn ligaments, including his ACL. In addition to the dislocation, he is having surgery today. Lost in the shuffle Sunday was this odd, disappointing halftime interview between Ben Johnson and Aditi Kinkhabwala.
Your offense has struggled to take advantage of those takeaways.
Yep.
Okay, so what did you tell them to get things going?
That it wasn't our brand of football. We're capable of a lot more, and so we're hitting the reset button here at halftime, and we're going to come back and establish our identity here in the second half.
So you need to change what you're doing.
I don't know. You think so? We're going to be just fine.
The end there is the key. The visual wasn't great.
The visual makes out so much worse.
Yes, because Johnson's a very dismissive look on his face while that's going on. The Bears head coach explained himself yesterday.
When I look back at it, I am a little bit disappointed with what that looks like. I didn't hear very well, and that's not an excuse, but when I thought I heard that not a question, but that I needed to make some changes, I didn't take that very well. So I'll do a better job with those going forward.
Okay, so he misheard the question.
Did she say, it kind of cut out. Was the question, do you need to make some changes? Because it did kind of sound like saying, you need to make some changes.
I think she began her question before she brought the mic back to herself. But if you listen, you can. She says, "Do you need to change what you're doing?"
Yeah.
So he thought she was telling him to change. Now, my response to that is, why? Like that? Why is he working from this is some kind of like adversarial conversation? Like,
because he's ticked off because they're losing.
But the sideline person would never be like, "You need to change this." Like that.
I think that was the shock, right?
Yeah, you need to run the ball more, Ben.
Right? Why would he think?
Thanks, Aditi. Got it, Aditi. No, I guess I also think that, so a lot obviously lost here, right, with the crowd noise probably and all of that. But maybe the better question is, what needs to change? Do you need to change things? He already acknowledged that they do, right? He just said, this is not our brand of football. We've got to be better. We're going to clean it up. Do you need to change it? What do you need to change? Would have been the more insightful, right? If you're actually trying to get an answer, that's the more insightful question.
A yes or no question is not going to get the job done there, because that's what do you need to change something is a yes or no question. So, and he already answered it. He said yes.
Yeah. So, anyway.
But I will say, I don't like heel Ben Johnson. He's been and the guy who started with the calling out Matt LaFleur randomly. Yeah. That kind of seemed cool until you realize it was random and Matt LaFleur doesn't know him. So you're like, well, why are you taking this random shot at him? And he's been kind of prickly with the media just basically since the season started. He kind of had this vibe. Everyone thought he was cool. He was making these trick plays, and the Lions are so fun. And he is not a fun guy at all. He's not easy to root for. So I don't know if that is something to think about for Chicago in terms of if this goes poorly, how much rope he'll have.
Well, the other part too is at least this is what he's presenting publicly, right? We don't know what he's like behind the scenes, but it seems like this is what he wants to be.
Yeah.
So
it's like sending a message to his team.
Exactly.
Right.
So I think it's calculated. He wants to be the heel, whether you think it's a good look for him or not.
Well, then to follow up on that, if he's trying to be a jerk, so to speak, does he then need to apologize for being a jerk to her, which led to her having 24 hours of people telling her sexist and racist things in response to the clip? Because that's what she was doing yesterday on social media, was people were attacking her for doing nothing wrong, and it was because Ben Johnson reacted oddly to a situation that didn't need to be handled like that.
Okay, but to be fair to Ben Johnson, like responding weirdly to a question is not inciting people to come after her on social media. That's not one-to-one.
Okay, but if it's an honest mistake, yes. But if he's going into, like, if you just said he's trying to do this, so if he's acting, if he's going into these things
being prickly,
adversarial for, like, to begin with, that's a starting point, and it's fabricated. Then he's creating situations that he doesn't need to create.
No, but him being prickly with a reporter, male or female, is not a dog whistle to Bears fans to call her racist and sexist things. Is that what you're implying?
No, not that he's doing it on the purposeful part is him just being a jerk in a conversation that doesn't need to be a jerk in. I know how these interviews don't need to happen. Like Grant, they don't accomplish
Remember
anything.
Carissa Thompson and Aaron Andrews said they make up what the coach says. They make it up.
Right. They're a waste of time. I wouldn't want to be asked valid questions as a frustrated losing head coach. So they're always dicey situations. They're hard to do from the journalist side of it.
Yeah.
My only question was if he is entering those from a starting point of, like, I'm just not going to do these well, like Popovich,
right?
That was just that was his mode of behavior in these conversations.
But his first answer was acceptable. He seemed like he was doing fine.
Talking over actually from the beginning too. Like he didn't want to be there.
Yeah, he's giving off an I don't want to do this vibe.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the point?
So if he's being a jerk on purpose, then the unfortunate side effect of that is this plays out the way it does. And then on top of Aditi feeling bad in the moment, she's getting crapped on by strangers for 24 hours in a situation that didn't have to exist if he just had a regular human interaction.
He wanted to create a viral. He created a viral moment. I think he kind of wanted to, and that's and you think that he sat there and said, "I'm going to give this really rude answer to this reporter, and nobody's going to clip this or nobody." No,
Ben Johnson was thinking about the game. He was in a dogfight with the Raiders. He didn't. You think he thought this through? No way.
No, I think he wanted to say. He's like, "Oh, you're going to be a jerk. I'm going to be a jerk now too." And now what?
I don't think he thought it in advance. I think Maggie, one of her points, like people are going to come after Aditi anyway. I mean, that's just.
Well, I just.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like anyway. I just.
Yeah,
I don't
feel
think it's like if Greg Popovich is a jerk to Israel Gutierrez, right, on the sideline, and then people start calling Israel Gutierrez names because he happens to be the guy asking him questions. Is that Greg Popovich's fault?
Well, that was my question, the unintended consequence of Ben Johnson playing a role. I thought that's what you were saying, that Ben Johnson was presenting he wants to be like this.
Well, I meant like from the beginning, not in every single moment of the day. I just think he wants to do this sort of black hat thing where he's not Mr. Warm and Fuzzy, but does that mean he was like consciously trying to embarrass Aditi? I don't know.
Yeah. Also, he had a reputation. He had a reputation of being a psycho too, right? Like everyone said, he blew up all the time in Detroit.
Yeah.
Like Dan Campbell was a nice one, ironically, big scary day, and Ben Johnson was the disciplinarian.
I'll put it this way.
Yeah.
I think that this is also one of the things that comes with Ben Johnson never having done this before. So, EJ, I'm going to maybe disagree with you that he's courting these viral moments because ultimately he doesn't look good here. And I think this is what comes with, even if he's trying to be like prickly, this is not a great look for anybody. So I think this is showing his inexperience. And I think that's happened a couple times. And he's having, I think, some serious growing pains about being the head coach of the Bears.
But
that's how I see it.
He definitely thought about what he was going to say about Matt LaFleur. And
I think he
definitely, some of these things where he's going after, when he's going after his team, talking about how we don't practice. Like, I mean,
that could be a little more calculated than a sideline interview.
Maybe.
The Matt LaFleur thing, certainly. He had all offseason to think about
I'm just going by his patterns.
But that's who he is. Like, he's supposed to be this guy. By the way, he's beloved in the coaching community. Everyone's like, and his players love him, and the coach, everyone around the league loves him. So he's just like a hothead. Like,
I don't think Matt LaFleur loves him.
Well, generally, like, I've heard people talk too. Yeah, there are a lot of big Ben Johnsonites. I've heard other coaches talk about him. He's very well respected.
But is that a football mind respect or an actual overall person respect?
What's the difference? Like, people love Bill Parcells, and he's the biggest jerk in the world.
I think people can separate the two. I think that guy's a jerk, but he's a beautiful offensive play caller.
No,
I wish I could do that.
I've heard like people love Ben Johnson. I think as a person, he's probably a good guy, but he's probably in his job very intense.
And we obviously know that many teams wanted him to be their head coach over the last 2 years, so he certainly is popular. I'm just wondering where the respect comes from.
No, I think he's like not. He was TJ Yates' backup in North Carolina. I think he's like a pull him up from the bootstraps kind of guy. I think his journey is well respected around the league. I mean, I've heard other guys talk about him glowingly. Maybe he's just a jerk when he coaches. We get that. I mean, you guys have been around. You guys all been coached. Coaches can be jerks, and that doesn't mean they're bad coaches.
No, I mean,
of course not.
Bad coaches are bad people. No.
No, I think you can pick your spots sometimes, and if your default is to be annoyed by people, I don't like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Aditi, by the way, was in that Dylan Gabriel Entertainers quote too. She's having quite a year.
She's having a hell of a fall.
I know.
Way to be there, Aditi.
Found her way into a lot of stories here.
It's great. 888-710-4ISN. Probably not in the moment, but 888-710-4476. And going on social media after, that's not good for anybody. Coming up next, we have a lot more to do, including why today is one of the great days in sports. It's MNP.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Ethos Life, the easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes, up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam, just a few health questions. Get your free quote at checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Got some heated arguments here on the Maggie and Perloff show this morning, just arguing about Ben Johnson's sideline demeanor. You know, sometimes coaches are jerks. It's the way it always has been, the way it always will be.
Yeah.
I always want to say it doesn't mean they're bad guys, but that's kind of weird. Ben Johnson is a work in progress. He's interesting because he apparently in Detroit, he was the hothead and Dan Campbell was the calming force. And Dan Campbell is an eat kneecap kind of guy. Like, what does that tell you? But coaches are interesting. I know we're going to talk about Kirby Smart. I know nothing about Kirby Smart's personality. What he does on his off time, I don't know a single thing about Kirby Smart.
Well, he's an SEC football coach, so clearly he fishes. That's what they all do. We all know it.
You know, it's a lake house. Oh,
got the lake house.
That's in the contract, the lake house, right?
You got to be on the lake house.
You just summed up an entire man's life in one sentence.
Well, it's him, it's Saban, it's Lane, it's every Florida coach.
No, Lane is different. Lane's evolved.
A fisherman.
Lane does a lot of other stuff. He has other hobbies. I'm saying, like, you're right. Kirby Smart, after he's done watching tape, he goes to the lake.
Everyone knows that. Meanwhile, Georgia taking a tumble in the polls. 12th now in the country in the latest rankings, where Alabama climbs up to 10 after Bama beat Georgia on Saturday. So let's hear from Kirby Smart. He is unbothered by his dismal 1-7 record against the Crimson Tide.
What's everybody else's record against them? You got it? I don't either. Like I don't lose sleep over that, because those games have been like championship caliber games. Right, and even when we play in the regular season, I just saw 25 scouts out there. They're all there to watch these teams play. So that's not going to affect me. Like I'm going to be happy and just go lucky if our team comes back and plays well. That's what I worry about.
Well, that's a lie. I don't know if Kirby Smart's ever happy-go-lucky, but maybe the 5 minutes after the national championship game, if he wins it.
I did some research, by the way. You were wrong about fishing. Not his hobby. He's got playing golf.
That was the second on my list.
Yeah, he's more of a golf guy than a fishing guy. I mean, he does fish, don't get me wrong, but playing golf and watching his kids play high school sports is his passion.
The visor should have gave it away that he's a golf guy.
Darn it. You know what? I'm actually shocked now he's not in the NFL, because I feel like that's an NFL coaching thing. It's definitely golf.
I don't know. The old ball coach liked his golf at both levels.
That's true. All right, so Kirby Smart, unbothered by this 1-7 record against Alabama. Pearl, do you buy that?
Yes. I mean, of course he's bothered by it, but I'm sorry, Georgia-Alabama rivalry, it's the era of the 12-team playoff. They lost to him last year. It did not matter. It can't. I'm sorry. This is what happens in college sports when you expand the playoffs. These regular season losses just don't mean the same thing.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and disagree on that. I think that maybe losing to Saban, which, by the way, Kirby Smart finally beat Nick Saban in a national championship game. So, like, he did what he needed to do at one point. But I think losing to Kalen DeBoer, that's got to be that's got to sting a little bit, because you lose to Nick Saban. He's maybe the greatest college football coach ever, and he was a mentor of Kirby Smart. Like that, I think you have so much respect. I'm not saying that Kirby Smart doesn't respect Kalen DeBoer, but you kind of think when Saban retires and he's sitting there on the game day, college game day, said, well, now's our chance. And that hasn't happened. So I think it's gotta be a lot more. I would take it more personally now with Saban gone, because you're right about the college football era. It's about money now. You know, the tradition maybe of Alabama, Georgia, any of these places may start to just mean a little bit less than a paycheck.
It has to.
Right. So the fact that matters is you're not coaching against Alabama Mystique anymore. You're just coaching against the team. And this is a team that lost to Florida State by 2 touchdowns, and Florida State lost to UVA on a Friday night. So to me, I think this does have to stick with Kirby Smart a little. I just think this Georgia team is feeling a little the effects of all those guys going to the NFL, right? I mean, and you did have Ty Simpson who outplayed Gunnar Stockton. It was still a very close game.
No, I mean, I do think that Kirby's not lying, though. Like, this SEC schedule comes at you fast. I don't think it stings. I mean, but back to that bigger point. His
defense is undisciplined. Yeah. I'm sorry.
With the 12-team playoff, are we going to have rivalries like we used to? I think when it came out, people were worried about the big one. Really, the most meaningful rivalry. Will Michigan and Ohio State mean less if they're going to play 2 or 3 times in a row? So I think we're seeing that, because I didn't feel like that was a rivalry devastating loss. Of course it was, but they're going to be able to move past it.
888-710-4ISN. Does it impact Kirby Smart's legacy that he's 1-7 against Alabama?
You're in a 5-minute break.
He's got no bed at all. The pickle losers can't contain him. He's still. The pickle losers, Summit County, won't see me hanging round. Packed my life into cardboard boxes, said goodbye to that town. But now I'm fighting with a U-Haul over charges that don't make sense. Reserved it online for $200, now the bill's 400 cents. No bed, no frame, no sheets in sight, just a blanket and towels tonight. Oh, Daly's fighting U-Haul, Daly's got no bed at all. Sleeping on a carpet floor, still answering Maggie's call. From Maggie and Perloff's YouTube dream to the land where shit can't stream. People out, he won't show up for work, the Daily keeps on with the team. I'm still moving, mostly done now, but my patience wears so thin. U-Haul's gotten me seeing red, but this war I'll surely win. The landlord's knocking at my door, the fridge is empty, the shelves are bare, but I've got Perloff on the stream, so I don't even care. Civility lost, we lost the crown. COVID made him shout too loud. Oh, Daly's fighting U-Haul, Daly's got no bed at all. Carpet, blanket, towels for pillows, yeah, standing proud and tall. NBA courts should stretch out wide, move the people way outside. The money rules and fans won't budge, so Daly sings with wounded pride. YouTube stream is frozen, stuck on my face mid-yawn. Perloff's talking touchdowns, but my picture's just gone. Comments rolling in like thunder, Daly, are you even alive? I swear I'm shouting back at the screen, but the lag eats me alive. Buffering, frozen again, Daly's faced up with the dumb little grid. Lottie never shows up, she's the live stream, won't load up. Kaplan's in the chat just spamming memes, and my Wi-Fi's killing dreams. Daly's fighting U-Haul, Daly's got no bed at all. Sleeping rough but singing strong, with Maggie's show to sing along. The pickle losers fade away, Maggie Perloff saved the day. Lottie's ghosting, ship still dreaming, and Daly's frozen face is screaming. Maybe one day I'll find a mattress, maybe one day peace will come. Till then I'll fight these moving battles.
1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Had a pair of games last night. The biggest takeaway, Miami Dolphins beat the Jets, but Tyreek Hill's season is over. It's a torn ACL, reportedly. He's going to go into surgery today. In the nightcap, it was the Broncos with a nice game from Bo Nix, but against a hapless Cincinnati Bengals defense. So there you go. Dolphins beat the Jets. Broncos beat the Bengals. We didn't learn a whole heck of a lot, I don't think, about either team, except for maybe how terrible the Jets are. But beyond that, Pearl, these are not four teams that we're expecting to really matter in a real way when all is said and done this year. The Broncos, I'm sorry, go ahead.
The Broncos, right? You were about to say they're part of this.
I think that they're a fringe playoff team, and the defense is very good, but, are they as good as the Chargers? And let's be honest now, are they as good as the Chiefs? Because you called it. When Xavier Worthy back on the field, the Chiefs look very, very different.
You call this because the day that they made that trade with the Buffalo Bills on draft night to move up to get Xavier Worthy, who set the all-time combine record as the fastest receiver, I said, oh, come on, it's just a receiver. What big a difference can it make? He is an absolute difference maker for the Chiefs. I mean, we saw it. He was amazing in last year's playoffs. He was the only bright spot for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And the fact that he, despite his injury, picked off right where he left off. And they have another very, very good receiver coming back, Rashee Rice, after a 6-game suspension. So now the Chiefs are back. I got to tell you, we came into the season wondering if the Broncos and Chargers could challenge them in the AFC West. I don't think the Broncos are, and I got to be honest, I don't think the Chargers are, because the health is already starting to become a major issue for the Chargers. That's always been their issue.
Yeah, Joe Alt now is hurt. Yeah.
I haven't looked at the betting. I would bet on the Chiefs to win that division now, which is not a hot take. It's the Chiefs. They win it every year. But I think that early season struggle, I'm going to say it, is already behind them.
Well, listen, a lot of this had to do also with the Ravens being so banged up and so hurt, and Lamar Jackson leaving the game in the third quarter. There was just nothing there. Can I just pull the room on a little something?
Yeah.
So when the Chiefs now look amazing, right? They score 37 points. I feel like they haven't done that in a year and a half. The offense is looking good because Xavier Worthy takes attention. So now Travis Kelce is a big deal in the first half. And now maybe even things open up a tiny bit more for Isaiah Pacheco. And Tyquan Thornton is still catching touchdowns. And every once in a while, Juju Smith-Schuster comes out of nowhere and comes up with a big first down and all of that stuff, right? Was there a little part of you that was like, all right, well, here we go again? Because we've talked a little about Chiefs fatigue and whether or not people were kind of getting not sick of the Chiefs. You're always going to respect the Chiefs. But it was the Chiefs. It was the over the top with Taylor. It's the, just the sustained success, which, call it sour grapes or whatever, will always incite a little backlash. Even one of the most likable teams ever, I would say the Golden State Warriors, still got a little bit of backlash at the end. So of the dynasty. I was wondering if there was a little bit from the room of like, oh, well, here we go. It's like Tom Brady's Patriots again. You just can't kill these guys.
That's so funny. I actually wondered the second the Chiefs got blown out in the Super Bowl, all that Chiefs fatigue went away. And I feel like a lot of the attention shifted to the Eagles as being unlikable.
Well, that's, of course. I mean,
but
the Eagles are definitely unlikable. You run that dumb tush push. Now you run the quarterback sneak out of the tush push, which is even more infuriating.
The running back.
Yeah, sorry, the running back sneak.
The sort of end around thing they did.
Yeah.
Eddie, but I don't know. I feel like when the Chiefs lost, I think a lot of people realize, oh, it is good when the Chiefs are good. That's how I realized. I never had Chiefs fatigue. I don't know why. I kind of like the team.
You're immune?
It's so similar to the Warriors. There's no reason anyone should have disliked the Warriors. But then all of a sudden, Steph Curry chewing his mouth guard became like the cardinal sin. People just like to pick apart the winners. I think we're going to miss it when Travis Kelce retires and Taylor's not at the game. We're going to miss it when eventually Patrick Mahomes fades. I think this is a fun team. I mean, how can you not say what's not fun about them? They're completely interesting. They're creative on offense. They're tough on defense. Chris Jones, incredibly likable as their defensive leader. Andy Reid, incredibly likable as a coach. Why would they? I mean, is it just you want new blood as a neutral fan? Or
No, let's hang on a second, though. Like, yeah, they have this ability to be creative on offense. And they have an ability to be fun on offense.
They did it a little bit on Sunday.
On Sunday was the first time in 2 years it's looked like that. We always say it's not like the Tyreek Hill Chiefs anymore. This is not the 50 touchdowns for Mahomes. They were winning games 14-12.
But that's not why people turned against the Chiefs. It wasn't because of style of play. It was because of overexposure.
And the winning.
And Taylor Swift.
But it's like if they're going to win, I don't want to watch them win in a way that just felt like so boring. That's what people were calling the Chiefs last year and the year before. They actually got kind of boring. Well, be careful what you wish for, because now they're going to be exciting again on offense, which means they're probably going to average like 40 points a game.
Yeah, I mean, they do have a real issue. They want to establish a run game, and they can't. Even against Baltimore, who anybody could run on, they didn't have good running stats. So there is something, they're not full. I think they're more interesting now because you see vulnerabilities. There's something just even with Worthy and Rice, I'm worried they're not going to be the 54-51 Rams game Chiefs ever again. We're never going to see that again. The league is caught up. They don't have Tyreek Hill. Everybody, basically because of the Chiefs, everyone changed their defense and went to the two-eye safety look. Much more conservative. Let's not let the long play beat us. So the Chiefs have to chip their way down the field. It's boring, but I think we're going to miss when Kelce retires and there's no, hey, was Taylor at the game? That's fun to me. I mean, I know it's become a little old hat now, but I find it interesting. Like, I'm more interested in that than a lot of the other contenders.
I got to be honest. Travis Kelce will retire. That will happen. He's not leaving us.
Yeah, but do you think she'll come to the games if he's not playing?
It doesn't. He and they will be more in our lives than ever before.
But will she be at the games? That's like the one thing
I
that
don't
we
care
look for.
about that anymore. We've already been there, done that with her at the games. To me, just if you think that Taylor and Travis are taking a step back out of our lives once he retires, you're crazy. Now he's going to have no football to even focus on. It's going to be more and more movies, TV shows, her music. They're going to have a baby, I'm sure. We're going to know everything about that kid.
We drafted Xavier Worthy.
It's like they're only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger,
Yeah,
so I'm not worried about that.
What's that have to do with the Chiefs, though?
Well, I'm just saying he will always be associated with the Chiefs. So I don't think we're ever going to miss, air quotes, Kelce and Taylor. We're not going to have time to miss them. They're going to be so in our faces.
No, I don't think we're going to miss them, but I do think the Chiefs are going to get more boring when Travis Kelce's gone.
I don't think they're going to get more boring. They're going to be interesting from a football perspective still. He's not even a huge part of the offense anymore.
I disagree. I think something's going to be a little different when he's gone. Even when he's not doing anything, he's still kind of interesting.
Bumping into Andy Reid on the sideline, which probably should have gotten him benched, but didn't.
He's just it's interesting to watch him. He's a Class A celebrator. Even there was a touchdown somebody had the other day, and they got to find Travis. I just think it's interesting. He's one of this huge star. He's who acts like he's not a huge star on the field. Say what you want about him. The dude, he'll block. He'll do anything. He never puts on airs on the field. I'm a definitely a big Travis Kelce fan. You're right; it's going to be overexposed, maybe. But I still don't totally understand the Chiefs fatigue thing. Like why America turned on them. Do we always turn on every winner? Isn't there some winner? We hated the Spurs because they were boring. They were the big fundamental.
Hated the Patriots because they were cheaters.
We hated them because they were boring too. They would just, they would do short passing down the field. But we like the 70s Steelers. Everyone worships that team. We like the didn't
have the 24/7 media back in the 70s.
We like the 90s Cowboys. That was exciting.
Again, still didn't have the type of exposure now. Like Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith didn't have a podcast back in the 90s. Michael Jordan didn't have a YouTube show. It's just different.
Interesting.
Now.
So it's a matter of the medium. Yeah. We love the Bulls with Jordan.
Yeah, but again, we saw him on the court and we saw him in commercials.
I think we love Kobe's Lakers. A lot of fans did.
Yeah, that was kind of pre-social media and then into
social media. So you're saying
media.
just because there's too much media around now, we can't stand winners?
I think that the Golden State Warriors backlash had a little more to do with Draymond. He was easy to hate. Sports hate,
I think like Curry got on people's nerves too. The petty king.
Yeah, because
I'm the petty king.
He's the petty king, and he's so good, and he's like that shot is unbeatable, and also nothing ever happens to Curry. Like no one ever gives him a little forearm shiver. Nobody ever tries to knock him down. It's like the rest of the league doesn't even try to. I'm not saying hurt the guy. I'm not, but like no one even tries to ever get physical with him. It seems.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but yeah, I just think that. Also, I'm a big fan. I prefer the dynasty to the parody when it comes to the Super Bowl. I'm one of those guys. I love to see the Cinderella win early, but I kind of want to see Duke play Kansas in the final game or something. Actually, I don't know if that matchup's ever happened. Sorry. But I like to see the Blue Bloods. Now, this year, it would be interesting to see the Bills get through. As a neutral fan, I do think that maybe in the AFC, we want to see Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson get through. But I think I'm curious. I don't know if we could put this in a poll. Would the league be more boring if the Chiefs went away? And I think it would.
Yeah, well, let's workshop the messaging on that. But I get what you're saying, and maybe all the Chiefs back after one game.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that one.
They're totally winning this division.
I think they're winning the Super Bowl. That was a wake up call. Anyway, let's get to Big Friendly, our pal in California, big Rams fan. What's up, Friendly?
Good morning, Maggie Malone, EJ the EP, Daddy Cool, Little Big Swifty, Ryan Gosling. When did you guys hire Ryan Gosling?
Ooh.
And my man, Manny Wapo. Good morning, and thank you for taking my call.
Chris, you're Ryan Gosling?
I think you're closer to Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen, that was just...
He looks a little bit like Seth Rogen. Nothing like Ryan Gosling.
Like this all the time.
Yeah.
You might be a cross between Seth Rogen and Ryan Gosling.
Could be.
I've gotten Pete Alonso, and I've been like, no. And then someone in the Mets front office said they agreed. So now that's stuck.
You're Pete Alonso now?
Yeah, I never saw it.
Are you a Labrador Retriever of a person?
I think I've got the same IQ as one, but I don't know about personality.
Friendly, what's on your mind, sir?
Real quick, Daddy Cool's just hating my man because he could never be mistaken for Ryan Gosling. So don't worry.
No, definitely not.
By the way, isn't this Glenn Powell's world now? Are we all living in Glenn Powell's world and Gosling's over?
I have no idea. I just like the movie The Nice Guys. So
very good.
I wanted to just ask you guys your opinion on the Rams and Colts game Sunday because as a Rams fan, I have to be honest with myself and say that the Rams did not beat the Colts beat themselves. Now, with all the mental mistakes the Colts had, Danny Dimes looked pretty good. I ain't going to call him Danny Loose Change. I'm going to slow down. But do you think that it was the pressure of the game or it was just time for them to relapse? Because they didn't look like the Colts that everybody's been talking about.
Yeah, Friendly, I think it was a function of the schedule. The Rams are a real team that's really good, and you're right, the Colts beat themselves. They had their other wins against a no-show Miami team. Denver's still figuring stuff out, and then they were at Tennessee. Tennessee is just at the beginning of this thing, and Cam Ward was asked yesterday or on Sunday how the team played. He said, "We ass."
But Magsy.
Direct quote.
But Magsy.
Yeah.
But Magsy, yeah, true. But Magsy, the Rams have only beaten the Texans. They beat the Titans. They had a major letdown against the Eagles, and now they just stumbled their way into a win against the Colts. So as a Rams fan, if as a Rams fan, who have we beaten to say that we're that good?
Wait, I think, by the way,
Well, it was
I think the
pretty
Colts,
good against Philadelphia. I mean, you should have won that game, friendly.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
I thought the Colts outplayed the Rams a little bit on the road.
Thank
Like
you.
I didn't walk away.
Yes.
I walked away encouraged about the Colts after that
Me
game.
too.
Like they looked more legit than maybe some of their wins.
Oh, I mean, the Colts,
Yeah.
but if you're going to make bonehead mistakes like that on the road, which was A.D. Mitchell dropping a touchdown as he's walking in and fumbling out of the back, then he got called for a pass interference on a Jonathan Stewart touchdown. So he's personally responsible for, Jonathan Taylor. What did I say?
Stewart.
Sorry, Jonathan Taylor. Hello, Mags. I took a time machine. That's 14 points that he's responsible for. Plus, on that Tutu Atwell 88-yard touchdown, the Colts only had 10 men on the field. I mean, it was a debacle.
And on their drive before they had to punt, they had, was it 2 holding calls, I believe, on offense?
And then Danny Indiana Jones, whatever we're calling him, what do you call him? Danny Loose Change. And then he threw a bad
Danny
pick
Loose
he threw a bad interception on the final drive. So,
But wait, yeah, don't you feel Big Friday? I think you're with me. Like the Colts are better than we thought they were. Daniel Jones is our quarterback. They have so many weapons too. Because Tyler Warren's awesome.
yeah, he is good.
And A.D.
my
Mitchell is actually
frustration-
awesome. He's just made a two boneheaded plays.
Here was my frustration with Daddy Cool, and I know you guys got to let me go. When I was watching the game, I kept seeing Danny dink and dunk, 5 here, 4 here, 7 here, 13 here, 17 here, 5 here. That's what was frustrating me because I'm like, why are you giving him 5 yards? And I talked a lot of trash about Danny. You guys know that. But besides those 2 throws to Cam Curl, he looked better than I've ever seen him play. I'm sorry, Manny, but he looked good.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Manny's on to Jackson Dart now. Friendly, I've got a shirt for you. Haven't forgotten about it. I'm going to put you on hold real fast because I think the last time I pretended to put you on hold, I actually hung up. That was me pulling an A.D. Mitchell. That's my version. It's not Manny's fault. Daniel Jones, is it going to take me a second to come around? Probably.
Who will you come around on faster, Sam Darnold or Daniel Jones?
Neither. I can't. I can't do it. I think.
Could you admit that Sam Darnold is going to work out better than Geno Smith?
Yes, I will admit that.
Okay.
Because the Seahawks defense is 100 times better than the Raiders. So I think Sam Darnold throwing a bad pick or, a bad fumble or making a bad decision at the end of the game, I think the defense could bail them out. The Raiders defense is not talented enough to bail Geno out of anything.
Oh, man. That was like Ben Johnson's non-apology to Aditi that we did earlier. Never mind that you're like, yes, I think Sam Darnold's going to be better because of the defense, even though he has...
It's not a better team.
Yeah, he's like leading the league in passer rating. Like he is throwing darts all over the field. He's very talented. Like he throws a beautiful pass and he can move. Like there's no doubt about it. He just sometimes has trouble feeling the pressure. Like you don't think Sam Darnold is like you think he's talented, right? That's not your issue with him.
It's not that. I just don't think that in the big moment, I don't want Sam Darnold. I don't want my game and my football life coming down to Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I think
I don't want to come down to Geno Smith either.
I think you're misunderstanding how hard it is to be a Giants quarterback and a Jets quarterback.
No, I know. I mean, we watched the Jets last night. It was terrible.
The big one for me, and like I have a lot of evidence that these quarterbacks get out of New York and get better. But once Zach Wilson balls out somewhere, I'm going to laugh so hard. Like being a quarterback on a bad team it's much harder than people think.
No, I'll agree with you on that, no doubt. But I also think that quarterbacks at times also have to help themselves, and I think there's reasons why some guys are late bloomers, some guys aren't. It takes a little while for guys to get it. And it's definitely taken Sam Darnold a bit to get it.
He's 28.
I know, which is funny. He came to the league so young. 888-710-4ISN. 888-710-4476. Are the Chiefs back is where that started. Do you believe in Daniel Jones? Also a good question. The Colts up next play the Raiders, where the Rams are hosting the 49ers on Thursday Night Football. I'm sorry. They are, hosting the 49ers. Okay. Coming up next, today's sneaky, awesome sports day. 4 MLB wildcard games start at 1 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to set the table for the MLB playoffs with CJ Nitkowski next. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, the Defensive Player of the Week is brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. I'll go real quick. I think I got it.
Yeah.
Kevin Byard, Bears safety, he had 2 picks and a really, really good day. He was washed with the Eagles, but he has come out of nowhere. So I actually made a note during that game that I think EJ will pick him for Defensive Player of the Week.
Wow. You making notes now?
Remember last year during football season, I take a lot of EJ Defensive Player of the Week notes. Now, he tends to go toward his favorite teams, so maybe he won't. But that one stood out to me. I'm like, wow, this guy is not washed like I thought he was. He's 32, by the way, former longtime Pro Bowler with the Titans. So that was nice to see him have a second life.
Okay. Well, I thought it was going to be Peyton Wilson who ran down Jordan Addison and prevented a touchdown in that doubling game until I remembered. What's that?
Yeah, good one.
Until I remembered EJ despises Aaron Rodgers for what he did to the Jets last year.
Yes.
So he would not pick somebody who's even a teammate of Aaron Rodgers. So.
Even on the other side of the ball?
Yeah.
Yep. I think EJ is that guy. So I think actually EJ is going to go for last night. This Denver Broncos, I know it was Jake Browning, but the fact that they did not run a play in the Broncos territory, the Bengals that is, after the first drive, that's pretty amazing. And we had Alex Singleton was on our show at the Super Bowl Pro a couple of years ago, and he was a delight. And I think he and EJ actually really hit it off, and he had 11 tackles last night, including 6 solo tackles. So I think it's Alex Singleton.
Alex Singleton is a gem. And Perloff, I'm disappointed because you were so close, but you're both wrong. We're going to the Bears-Raiders, and it had to be the play of the day for the Bears sealing the W in Vegas.
This long snapper has had issues. He's on the ball right now. Awaiting the snap. It's good. Snap is good. It's blocked! Bears blocked the kick. They blocked the field goal on 4th and 3 with 32 seconds to go in the game. The Bears blocked the kick.
Josh Blackwell is the Defensive Player of the Week. Kevin Byard was a very close call.
He was a monster. He had a monster.
Every time I turned on that game, he was making a play. I was like,
I don't know where that guy came from. But by the way, I'm sorry, I'm reading the copy. It's a Defensive Player of the Week. It's not the Special Teams Player of the Week. There's 3 phases, as I recall.
Well, he's a field goal. It's a field goal play, and he's a defender. So therefore, and he saved the game. So he gets defensive player of the week.
We always have this debate. Is a pitcher qualify? Does a goalie?
We don't have the debate. I say yes to the pitcher, and you guys are like, no. It's not even a debate.
Does a goalie in hockey qualify?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
no,
I hate that.
A goalie's not. There's an actual position called defenseman.
Exactly. Yeah, me and Perloff are lockstep on soccer and hockey. Off on special teams, apparently.
I'm giving you a hard time.
Josh Blackwell is a field goal. Now, if this was a kickoff, I probably would not have picked him. But a field goal play, I think, is a little different. So
I know Manny Wapo is our special teams maven.
It's a play on downs. I mean, Manny, what do you think?
Was that special teams?
Special teams absolutely counts. Don't disparage special teams like that, Perloff. I will come after you.
No, but are special teams and defense separate entities? That's the question.
That no one's asking.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Believe us, nobody's asking.
No, if it's a play on downs. If it's a play on downs, it's defense.
So I think
kickoff does not count. Blocking a field goal counts.
Now, I hate to ask, the guy's got to be a defensive player. Because sometimes the offensive players play defense on special teams.
Yeah, like a hands team type of deal.
And he's a DB, right?
Yeah, but he's a DB. And, again, kicking field goals, most of the time, those aren't offensive guys. Those are all defensive guys.
Let's get to Bogusch.
No kickoff.
That's a good one. It was a great win for the Bears and terrible if you're a Raider fan. But let's get to Bogues.
The only confirmed diagnosis for Tyreek Hill remains the dislocated left knee. Reports this morning, though, say there are multiple torn ligaments, including his ACL. Surgery today. The biggest remaining question is, did Hill suffer any nerve damage when he got hurt in the third quarter last night? He's done for the year, so Miami's offense will need help. Maybe it comes from tight end Darren Waller, who caught both of Tua's TD throws last night.
He played really good. Anytime you get the ball in your hands and you score twice, that's shows us that you're a viable option for us, or you could be a viable option for us.
Waller's production helped Miami lead 24-10 into the fourth quarter. The Jets rallied, but fell short and stayed winless 27-21. Gangrene running back Breece Hall might not be handling 0-4 well.
It's just a tale of, 3 out of our 4 losses. Teams will shoot themselves in the foot, and we come back and shoot ourselves in the head.
Yeah, that may be a tad overdramatic, but there are some self-inflicted wounds last night, including 3 turnovers and 13 penalties that cost them 101 yards. 11 penalties for the Bengals in Denver last night, many of them making it too hard on an offense without Joe Burrow. Jake Browning's unit only produced 159 yards and 9 first downs.
I mean, I think anytime you are struggling or doing well on offense, there's a lot that goes into it. And, I think for me, my focus is my role in that, which is, dropping back, making sure I'm making good decisions, and continuing to move the ball forward.
Doesn't sound promising. The Broncos, meanwhile, got 326 yards and 3 total scores from Bo Nix to level their record at 2-2. No update yesterday on Lamar Jackson, but the Ravens did say that D lineman Nnamdi Madubuike will not play this season because of his neck injury, and there remains concern about how this will affect his career as a whole. We mentioned Bruce Bochy and the Texas Rangers divorcing a while ago. The Twins yesterday fired Rocco Baldelli after 7 seasons, 3 division titles, and the 2019 AL Manager of the Year award. This season, they stunk. They traded 10 players at the deadline and finished with 92 losses. And finally, among the punishments for Minnesota Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeves' meltdown at the end of Game 3 with Phoenix, a reported $15,000 fine. We also have Indiana's Stephanie White and Vegas's Becky Hammon getting docked $1,000 apiece for speaking in support of Reeve after the incident. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, they've got a referee problem on their hands. Maybe every sport,
Yeah.
But definitely the WNBA is, I think, where they're even more vocal about it than even the NFL and the NBA. Because
refs suck.
We know how EJ feels about things. But it's so physical. And just when Caitlin comes back, I think it's going to be a huge point of emphasis. It already is now, but the way that she was getting officiated was a big deal before she got hurt.
They weren't calling enough, you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I know it is weird about the WNBA. The games get a little bit sloppy for me too because of that physical play. I think it'd help it if it cleans up.
Can I needle EJ on one thing before we leave?
Is this again about special teams versus defense?
Because last week's official NFC Special Teams Player of the Week was Eagles defensive tackle Jordan Davis for blocking the field goal against the Rams.
Okay, but he's definitely a defensive player,
right?
Yeah, but he's a real defensive player.
But he was the Special Teams Player of the Week for blocking a field goal.
I think you can be both.
I gotta tell you,
fine with that.
EJ, with the way they're blocking field goals this year, I don't think you can go to that anymore for Defensive Player of the Week because, as Maggie pointed out, it's a year of the blocked field goal. It's somewhat generic.
I mean, that is kind of true.
It is actually. When Maggie tweeted that, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, yeah, kind of.
It's going to be every week. So, okay. Thank you, Bogues. Okay, let's talk about what's going on today because I've said this is sneaky one of the best days of the year for sports. First game up for 4 different wild card games, Pearl. Tigers, Guardians. So you get a division rival. The 2 teams have been intertwined as the Tigers were in free fall. The Guardians were ascending, and now they're going to play each other in the first game. Yankees, Red Sox, the second, excuse me, let me go chronological. Padres, Cubs, that's a fun one because I don't know if you guys are seeing this. Technically, the Padres are the lower seed here. I'm seeing a lot of Cubs. People like this matchup for the Cubs a little bit. So I'm seeing a lot of that. I guess technically it would not be an upset. And then Yankees, Red Sox, I don't think we need to even go into that. And then Reds, Dodgers would be the classic David versus Goliath, Cinderella. Reds haven't made the playoffs in 10 years. Now they go up against the reigning World Series champs.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be hard. I was reading some predictions today, and should I feel good or bad about this? ESPN has 25 experts, and they did a panel where they predicted every series. Like you said, they were heavy into the Cubs in this series.
Yep.
But 12 out of 25 experts picked the Phillies, which is surprising. But only 4 picked the Dodgers and only 1 picked the Yankees. That really surprised me.
Interesting.
Like, why not the Yankees? Is it a scar from last year where the people don't think they're a well-rounded enough team to do this thing? Most of these experts do pick the Yankees to beat the Red Sox in this series.
Yes, I should say technically we're going to go from betting aspects. The Yankees are the favorites. Detroit is a slight favorite. The Cubs are a slight favorite, -125. Dodgers a little bit bigger at -210. At least that's for the opening round matchups.
Yeah, I mean, are the Yankees not as dangerous? Like, is it hard to have faith in them after last year's World Series? I get it.
I don't know. I have a couple thoughts. One, did the Yankees prove that they have improved themselves defensively enough that this is not going to be the Achilles heel? I mean, it's shorthand around New York, and I'm sure for baseball fans, just fifth inning. You know that was what doomed them, even though they were, down in that series to begin with. Maybe there's a thought that there's also a question about, is there really a home field advantage for the Yankees? Clearly there is a home field advantage because you're up last in the bottom of the ninth, but the pressure can build so much because that crowd can be so unforgiving. Like, they will boo Aaron Judge in the middle of a pennant race. So maybe there's a little bit of that.
There's also the fact that Aaron Judge has not been a good postseason player.
He is not.
Also, the Dodgers, by the way, so the Dodgers were injured like crazy last year and killed everybody.
Yeah.
Now they're healthy. Basically.
Well, the bullpen is
that's
not good,
the problem.
Though.
But I mean, last year, Shohei was holding his shoulder. Freeman was limping around. Then last year is crazy. They had no starting pitching. And this year, at least they have their starters and the big three stars. Like, I don't know why people were picking the Phillies over the Dodgers. Like, talent-wise, can anyone match this team? On paper talent.
Yeah,
your
Phillies
team is good.
Roster is really good. That's why you're the second seed.
Yeah, but they've come up short in the playoffs too.
They have. I mean,
they choked away very easy opportunities.
If you still had Zach Wheeler, you'd be the heavy favorite in the NL in my mind.
That's the thing. You know how I feel about baseball. I feel like, as Billy Beane said, it is a complete crapshoot in the postseason.
Yeah, but see, I get that, and there's a rest versus rust, and I know that the Phillies, what'd you say, they're doing a simulated game.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I would imagine that the Brewers and the Mariners, I imagine, other teams are going to do that too. But there is also an idea of, you have the home field, and you have this really great team, and you have a fantastic bullpen and closer.
Well, but as far as the rest versus rust, 2 years ago, the 83-win Diamondbacks made the World Series. The year before that, the 87-win Phillies. The year before that, the 89-win Braves. Like, it is collecting a lot of regular season wins does not always translate. We know that in recent years. The Dodgers used to win 105 games a year and never do anything.
Well, last year they led wire to wire.
Yeah, I know.
The Dodgers would lose not always immediately. One year they lost to the Padres in their first series, but they lost in the LCS. They lost World Series. Like, they didn't just flame out always.
Yeah, but they were really disappointing. I mean, they had some of the great regular seasons of all time.
100%.
I just find it hard to wrap my head around. I'm reading these predictions on ESPN, and I don't buy them. I just do not buy. Maybe this is me. I'm becoming like you, Maggie. You've had this effect on me. I can't trust my own team.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Take a quick break here. We'll talk a little more baseball again. All the games get underway. First one starts at 1 o'clock Eastern time. So you literally have baseball at 1, 3, 6, and 9.
Love that.
Eastern
6
time.
p.m. Eastern start. Right, watch dinner, watch baseball. Yeah. I can't deal.
Sorry, family.
I don't need a late night Monday night doubleheader. I am ready for a slightly earlier event.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, coming up, we also have some college football for you. Is coaching what's failing Drew Allar of Penn State? It's the Maggie Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Let's all do a little math here.
Oh, boy.
Chris is doing the robot.
No math.
Well, this one's pretty easy. We all picked 3 hitters at the beginning of the MLB season, and we did a home run derby. So whoever has the most home runs combined with your 3 picks, you win.
Major regrets about my 3 picks. Like, did you guys look back and say, man, I should have taken that guy?
Well, yeah, but we did a draft, so
I was
it's kind of
like,
hard.
Cal Raleigh was this close to picking him. No, I'm just kidding.
Sure. Yeah, right.
I had no idea that was coming.
You and everyone else.
Okay, LeBron.
Knew that Kobe was going to score 81. Knew it. Okay, do you guys want to do a little math, everybody?
I got mine.
I got mine, too. Did we tell Bogish? He can do some quick math.
He has like 5 home runs. I don't think we need to worry about that.
That's true.
Oh, right. He had...
Manny's like, don't. And what about you, Manny? E2. No. All right. Well, I finished with 100. I had Shohei, Vlad, Guerrero Jr., and Ellie De La Cruz combining for 100 home runs, with Ohtani really doing the heavy lifting there with 55.
I finished just above you, 104, with Kyle Schwarber, 56, Bryce Harper, 27, and Marcell Ozuna, somewhere from the back of a milk carton, hit 21.
Wow. And EJ, you want to keep doing math on yours?
Yeah, I'm doing my math right now. Stand by.
5 here, 4 here, 7 here,
Yeah.
13 here, 17 here, 5 here.
Being in sports talk radio, it is hard to do math at this point.
Yes, we're all a bit dumber. But meanwhile, while EJ does that, and we have to decide who did you win?
108.
Get out of here.
You had Judge, right?
Yeah, 53 for Judge, 25 for Tatis, 30 for Brent Rooker.
It was
Got me to
Rooker who
108.
helped you.
Yeah.
Did someone get hot at the end, or was that always?
It was Judge. Because Tatis and Rooker were kind of stuck at their numbers for a little while, but Judge went crazy the last 2 weeks.
All right, well, EJ gets something for this.
King of the day.
What about Manny?
He said, don't worry about
Manny.
it.
He said, don't. He has Matt Olson. He did have Juan Soto, though.
I hate Manny. Don't even bother with my numbers.
Okay. We won't. All right, so EJ wins, Perloff second. I come in third, and we'll figure out what the respective rewards and punishments are for all those.
All right. Yeah, that's funny. We knew I had you offered me the first pick to start with, but I was like, I'm going to go with a lot of Phillies here. So I punted on that. I should have if I had taken Judge number 1, I would have won this thing.
Well, Pearl, I mean, that's on you.
Maybe I'm a wimp
Olson,
here.
Number 1.
Stop reminding people.
It's all right. He was just severely hungover. Everybody knows that day. Anyway, let's get to James Franklin. James Franklin, head coach of Penn State. Close against Oregon, but it feels like we say that a lot when it comes to James Franklin and Penn State. Loses in double overtime to the visiting Ducks. Here's Franklin understanding the narrative that Penn State can't beat the top teams.
I get that narrative, and it's really not a narrative. It's factual. It's the facts. I get it, but I try to look at the entire picture and what we've been able to do here. But at the end of the day, we got to find a way to win those games. I totally get it, and I take ownership and I take responsibility. At the end of the day, I wanted that for those kids in that locker room.
Okay, so that was James Franklin, and listen, like I guess taking accountability, but part of this has got to be so frustrating for a Penn State fan, Pearl, because he's standing up there, he's saying the right things, he's saying this isn't a narrative, it's facts. He's 4-21 against top 10 teams in his career, but what's the consequence? He's saying, look at my whole body of work, and when you do, it's not bad. He made the Final Four last year in the first ever 12-team college football playoff. And all these guys coming back, you go into the portal, you're getting wide receivers. He can, I guess, apologize or take accountability, but what's the real consequence that's ever going to happen here? I don't think it's anything.
Well, what do you mean? The consequence is going to have this reputation as a big game choker. It's going to get louder and louder.
And he's still going to make the College Football Hall of Fame, most likely. And because I bet his winning percentage is ungodly.
No. He's going to make the College Football Hall of Fame?
Do
they put in coaches who don't win titles? You need a football therapist, Maggie.
Yes, they do, because posthumously they changed the rules and put Mike Leach in.
Oh, yeah.
And he was an innovator, so I think he deserves to be in. It doesn't
is Kirk Ferentz making it?
I bet he will.
I would think so.
Again, you have to have a certain winning percentage just to even get, even nominated. Or consideration. Thank you. So. No, I
don't think
James Franklin is going to be is rich beyond our wildest dreams. He gets to preside over one of the biggest programs, and he's not been winning the big games, but he's also not getting fired because of that. It's not like he has to go, take a step down and take a different job or something.
But here's the thing: he's shown progression here, like making the playoff last year. You cannot understate how huge that was for him. If he hadn't done that, then I think he probably would be on somewhat of a hot seat. If they'd gone out early last year in the 12-team playoff, it would definitely be a super different vibe here.
These were the biggest expectations that Penn State has had since James Franklin took over.
Yeah, basically.
And they just lost. Now they're ranked 7th. That's where they ended up, Oregon up to 2 in the country behind only Ohio State.
There's definitely been progression. He's always won a lot of meaningless games, but I think last year was a big step for him. Now, here's my problem. They had 3 points going into the fourth quarter.
Yep.
They had
problem.
Drew Allar, former number 1 overall recruit, big stud quarterback. They have 2 of the best running backs in the country who can't seem to get past the line of scrimmage. Something is definitely wrong on the offensive coaching staff. And I don't care about legacy like right now. Like, you have an immediate 2025 problem with this Penn State team. You have to be better than that. And I don't even know if they can run to get the wins they need to get into the Final Four, the Final 12. The way they played on Saturday night at home with all the white in the crowd, like, they looked terrible on offense. The offense looked broken, completely broken.
And Drew Allar has not looked better. It's one thing to beat Villanova 52-6. That's not where you're going to get judged. Drew Allar had really one great throw in this game.
Yeah, but did you see
one great throw?
I know. I totally know what you mean, and I know he did not play well, but I didn't think like he was missing open receivers that were open down the field. Maybe I missed it. It felt like everything he was throwing was around the line of scrimmage, and again, he should have an easy job. It should be 2nd and 2 every time because those 2, Singletary and Allen, should be running for first downs. Like, I just don't know what's going on. This is not the team I envisioned coming in. I thought this was going to be the big win. I really did. Did you kind of lean that way too because of the whiteout?
Listen, they were 3.5-point favorites, so I guess. But no, I thought Oregon was live, and actually, if we're coming clean, usually we only come clean on bets that we lose. That one was one that I was able to win. Now, he gets a couple more chances here. At UCLA and home for Northwestern, maybe not so much, but at Iowa is always a tough game. At Ohio State, then Indiana comes to Happy Valley. So those are going to be, a couple more tests. Mostly Ohio State, though. That's going to be a dogfight in the horseshoe.
Not really. I mean, you might as well just put an L down to that one. Right? Like, why would anyone think James Franklin's going to win that game?
No, you're not. But if you're going to do like kick, save, and a beauty on your legacy, or you're going to, try to change the facts that you cannot beat a top team, then going into Ohio State and winning where no one expects you to, and you're going to be an underdog, would go a long way. I said this going into the game, though, against Oregon. James Franklin was not going to fix this reputation with one game. That's not how it's going to work. He's going to have to chip away at this, and he's going to have to win probably a national title for the true big game choker moniker to go away.
This is going to be really tough. Because they're going to lose at Ohio State. So we'll see how Indiana does. Indiana coming to Penn State, if they win that game, is that enough to get them in with 2 losses? It's going to be real borderline.
Well, Indiana's going to be a lot ranked of pretty high. Indiana's a top 10 team.
Right now. Yeah, but I mean, there's going to be a lot of 2-loss teams competing for that. There could be a lot of big conference 2-loss teams because there are a lot of big programs with slightly easy schedules. I think you're going to have a logjam of Big Ten and SEC teams with 2 losses. Look at the SEC standings. There's going to be a ton of teams coming out of that. So I think it's going to be borderline. I'm already marking down the L at Ohio State. I mean, as James Franklin said, this isn't, what did he say? This is facts.
Yep. It's not a narrative.
It's not a narrative.
We know.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
Poll question up there that you can respond to at Maggie and Pearl on X. Could you see Joe Burrow asking for a trade from the Bengals? 65% of the audience says yes.
Ooh, that hurts.
Now, it's tough because, he's not playing right now. So the Bengals, were bad last night. Bad. I don't know how else you put it. They were bad on offense. They're with Jake Browning. They could not get the ball to their 2 great receivers. Mm-hmm. And the Broncos defense was fantastic yesterday. But again, easy pickings. And Joe Burrow is not going to be back. I don't know why he would come back this year.
No, he's 28, same age as Sam Darnold, by the way, which is interesting. He should be in the prime of his career. This is Super Bowl winning time, and he feels like he's further away than ever.
And of all the quarterbacks who we consider franchise guys, tier 1, tier 2, could really be difference makers on a team and who are under contract, we believe Burrow is the one and only right now who would be requesting a trade. Kind of feels like he would be the only guy.
I mean, quarterbacks are getting paid so much. Why would anybody else want to trade? Yeah, I mean, can you think of anyone even close? I think Josh Allen's in love with being Buffalo Bills quarterback.
I always worried a little bit about Josh. Maybe the loss is kind of, first of all, the loss is being kind of wearing on you. He's in a bit of a fishbowl, although he seems to enjoy that. He's from a small town, although now married to like this big time actress, singer. But so far he is the franchise. So
I mean, you say the losses, but the winning, the regular season, well, at least he's, winning 12, 13 games a year. That's got to feel good. I mean, it's different than Carson Palmer did not have a guaranteed 12 wins a year in Cincinnati, so he left. Yeah, I think generally there's a reason these teams pay these quarterbacks so much, so they don't have to deal with that. They're making a ton of money, all of these guys.
So the only other person I could see, and I don't think that he really has the cachet that he had, which is Trevor Lawrence. Now, they're off to a 3-1 start, but if you're watching these Jags games closely, it's the defense that's really been the difference. They've have 13 takeaways in 4 games. That's awesome. That's not sustainable. And right now, Trevor Lawrence's career lows in almost every statistical category. And they're yeah, that Liam Cohen. Careful with that guy.
Wait, you're saying Trevor Lawrence would ask for a trade? Or they would want to trade him?
Well, I'm just saying he doesn't have the cachet that he once had, but he has statistical lows. They're really relying on the run game and defense right now. But at some point, they're going to have to rely on Trevor Lawrence. At some point, he's going to have to
No, but he's not asking for a trade. He's like, thank you for giving me $55 million a year.
Right.
He's
Or
thrilled to be there, I'm sure.
the other person, and this is, we'll see what happens, would be maybe C.J. Stroud. Why can't this offense be any better?
Is it on him partly, too, though?
We will tackle that mañana. E.J. Stewart, thank you so much. Manny Guapo, nice job today. Chris Persaino?
Sure, what the hell?
Persinan. Andrew Bogish, Andrew Kaplan. Chris Persinan.